Morning, good morning. Hopefully you can hear me. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. So yeah, we appreciate y'all joining us. Got a few things to cover. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Thank y'all for being here. Let's turn this around, turn the light on so you can see real clear. Wait for people to get in here. Turn the light on. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got a show for you today. Kind of a recap of some stuff we already talked about, and we're going to talk about show you the dates that Major Stacy Heatherly, now promoted, was in the wreck, and show you photographic evidence when we get down to the bridge. And we're going to talk about the former colonel of the THPP, Tennessee Tennessee Highway Patrol, Colonel Tracy Trotz, to the bathroom. So, we're going to kind of do a little recap today of things that these dirtbags have done to you. They didn't just do it to me. We'll show you some statistics about traffic fatalities increase on Tennessee roadways under these people's command, where they get your tax dollars and they use it to go on vacations and have a good time at your expense. Use it to have patrol cars pick them up while they're drunk. They're drunken parties, and then they promote their friends and their family, and the public safety gets left out, and they lie in their courtrooms, do all kinds of rogue stuff that damages you, not for your public good, for their own good and their own illicit, corrupt government. Let's see if we can get off the road here so we don't get run over by cars on our way to the bridge. Our normal routine, we may change it up some. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Join in. We're talking about people in power, corruption, how dirty they are, and how they have infiltrated our government and are dangerous to you. So thank you. Come on, listen to me, people we got in here, and if you can hear me. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We're here Monday through Saturday at 6 a.m. and got a great show for you today. A recap, and got some pictures for you if we can get down to the bridge, or as close as we can to it before we run out of time. We don't like to keep you too much over an hour, but yesterday we did almost a 3-hour tour and covered some things about the breaking news about Major Stacy Heatherly, where she is not fit for duty and working, and with evidence and proof. Reported that to the Tennessee Highway Patrol Internal Affairs Unit, and they did nothing. That was months ago. I'll see if I can find the letter that I sent to them, telling them about what she did, what they allowed her to do. And as I knew, I'm not surprised, but I let them know, and we'll use it against them, what I let them know, and they still haven't said anything about it. So, and we'll cover a little bit about social movements, and we will have a great show for you today. Got some pictures for you. So come on in, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We'll read some comments and make it a great, lively show. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as they say. So thank y'all for joining me. We got a note from YouTube sponsors that we got over 400,000 viewers that have watched in the last month, and we'll soon cover 500,000 people. So I appreciate y'all's kindness, your support, your viewing the channel. So like, share, comment, and contribute if you can. We're going to go all across the state like we did in the Stacy Heatherly case, and request documents and do news stories, current news stories that's on, and tell tell you the truth about it that's unbridled, just the pure truth about it. People are afraid to stand up against the government, and you know what? I don't blame them. I don't blame them. There's some caution with me too. But I've been involved in doing stuff that's dangerous all my life. When I was a trooper, I arrested more people for drunk driving than any trooper in the state for more than half a decade. One of the most dangerous things you can do is taking people's freedom away. That's where officers get killed. Most likely to get killed when you're attempting an arrest of someone. And justifiably in some cases. I know there's a lot of false arrests, and I'm not involved in that. That was my job, and I used arrest to protect the public more than anybody. But that's one of the most dangerous things you can do. I was a state trooper for most of my career, and I did it at night by myself most of the time. Every now and then I got backup from the city police department who would stop and see me pulled over, which is excellent. I always appreciate it. And some of the sheriff's department, and I told the sheriff one time, I asked him if I could speak to him in the hallway when I was in court, and he thought I had a complaint. But I'm not a negative person. He came out in the hallway, and I told him that I was stopped on where I had to arrest somebody for DUI, and a county sheriff's deputy stopped, and two of them stopped, and I told him I appreciated that. And he thought I had a complaint to make, but I didn't have a complaint. I was thanking them for trying to help me. So I led the state in that. Let's see how many people we got on here. We'll continue the dialogue. We're talking about people in power, corruption, and what we can do about it. Some particular stories that I've learned in my life from an educated and life experience, lived perspective. And like, share, comment, and we'll go across the state if we get enough money and tell you the truth about things. I'm not afraid to do it. So I've been doing this all my life. So let's see how many people we got, and we'll continue this story. Thank you. Let's see, we got 55. Wow, already. It says, I love from Carol, England. Hello, Carolyn in England. Thank you so much. God bless you. Living Spirit Halloween. Yeah, I don't like Halloween that much. What happened to the police officer who's workers' comp? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about that. I'm glad you asked that. That's my son quit opiates. Hey, God bless your son. That's great. Let's see who that is that said that. That's excellent. You know, I hate. I don't know what that means, but yeah, a lot of kids get be safe on the road. That's right. So thank y'all. Like, share, comment, and we'll finish this dialogue. Got a bunch of information here. We're gonna show some of it as much as we can. There's the wake up in the morning. There's the rooster. Every morning we come down here, the rooster starts crowing. Time to get up. So unless you worked last night, then it's time to go to bed. Not everybody keeps the same schedule. Or if you're in another country, it's different times in different countries. So I've been involved in doing dangerous stuff to benefit the public all my life, and I know the dangers. Charlie Kirk knew the dangers, and it's dangerous. You can be at home hiding under your mattress, and a tornado hit and kill you. You know, you can get killed anywhere. There's illusion of control. They tell you to get in your bathtub during a tornado, but you can get killed in your bathtub. So there's no. We're all gonna meet God someday, and the best thing is to get your heart right with God through the Lord Jesus Christ, and teaches in the Bible. And I'm showing my belief, which is, hey, this is where where I'm coming from. If you don't believe that, well, I think that you should, but you can still listen. But the Bible teaches not to fear man that can destroy the body. That's all they can take. And they may, I don't know. There's some wicked people in state power, and I'm putting it on them pretty hard, putting the truth on them. And that's why you need to listen to this channel, because nobody else does this. But I've been doing this all my life. I'm still alive. I arrested more people by myself at night than any trooper in the state, mostly. doing one of the most dangerous things you can do, arresting people, taking their freedom away, justifiably. It was for public safety. It was for their own safety. I mean, they were drunk. They didn't know they shouldn't have been driving, some of them. And it wasn't malice or hatred towards them. I didn't try to go to court and get them the worst punishment. In fact, I think that the punishment for DUI is way too harsh, because they let the lead oligarchy people in power get out of their DUIs, and when they can't get around it because it would cause too much public outcry, and that's what I'm trying to do, trying to cause legitimate public outcry against the government. When they get a DUI and there's too much public outcry, like one of the attorney generals down here in Knox County, several of them have been stopped for DUI. They arrested one in Oak Ridge, district attorney, and when they get too much public outcry, they have to prosecute them. They slap them on the hand. That's not, they give them breaks, give them deals that don't go on the record, just like it never happened. And if you or your neighbor or somebody else, and I don't drink, get a DUI, oh, they'll hammer us. It'll cost us $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 to defend ourselves, to plead guilty. We'll have to do mandatory 48 hours in jail. We'll have to go to classes. They'll take our license from us for a period of time. They'll hammer us, and it goes on a record where if it happens again, then they use it against you and stack it. And the people that are in government power, if they do it again, it's not stacked against them, because the first one didn't go on the record. They pull all kinds of dirty tricks to get themselves out of trouble, that they do the same thing you do, and then they get out of it. So I think, and we've been trying, a lot of people disagree about this. They think they ought to throw drunk drivers under the bus and ruin their lives. One drunk driving and it ruins your life. And I'm speaking from a sociological perspective, and we're talking about why, I know I'm in danger from the state government speaking out against them, but I've been doing this all my life, and God's protected me. And I'm not afraid. The Bible teaches, don't fear man that's able to destroy the body, fear God that's able to destroy the soul and body in hell. So trust in the Lord Jesus Christ. That's all they can take on this earth. But I've been in danger all my life. When I was a trooper, I was protecting the roads. I was decreasing the fatality rate. Anytime you see somebody involved in something that causes people to get killed, causes a lot of mass fatalities, causes a lot of people to get killed, public policy or anything, then it could be demonic, because Satan, Lucifer, wants to destroy the whole earth. And I'm talking spiritually, but that's the truth. That's it not always, but devils and demons and Satan is involved in the death of people. He wants people dead. He hates people. He hates the human race. In the fall of Adam and Eve, he deceived them. You won't die. Well, we do. But God sent an answer, his son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross to pay for our sin debt for us. All we have to do is pray and ask him into our heart and ask him to forgive us, and we'll go to heaven. And you don't have your soul to worry when you meet your eternal fate, and everybody will. It just depends on when. Unless we have the rapture, then you're going to heaven. So all they can do is take away this life. So I've been in danger all my life. I realize that, and I have no premonition like Dr. Martin Luther King did, that he was gonna go to heaven, that he had seen the other side. I have no premonition. My premonition, I'm living a long time. I have a lot of military training. There's a thing called cover and concealment. Concealment is what you get behind if you're being fired on. In my case, maybe by the government, people in government power, not the government. We are the government. We're good. They've infiltrated our government. They are protesters in our government that are protesting against the people. We are the government. We just need to vote them out, take control of our government, and start this and continue this social movement. So I've been in danger all my life, and what we need to do is fight these people in government power that have infiltrated our government. But there's cover and concealment. Concealment is stuff when you can't find cover. Concealment will hide you from fire, like Charlie Kirk's tent, where the sniper might not have known where he was at if he'd have been moving around in the tent. Had he stood up and been hid from the sniper fire, it would have been concealment. Although the sniper could have fired rounds, it would have went through the concealment. So I have a lot of law enforcement and military, semi-military training. The highway patrol was trained by military people. So concealment is something you hide behind, that a round will go through, but the target, but you're the target, but the shooter doesn't know where you're at behind that concealment. It conceals you, but a bullet will still go through it. So if you can't find cover, you find concealment. It's like parts of a car, patrol car, are cover, and parts of it are concealment. Concealment is a bullet will go through that part. It'll go through the door. It'll go through a lot of parts. So if you can't get behind the cover, you hide behind concealment. And so cover is what will protect you from a bullet. Like when the President of the United States gets up, he didn't have that in Butler, Pennsylvania. Why? It's kind of, I don't know, Secret Service dropped the ball. Then a bullet won't go through cover. And that's what your aim is, to get through cover. So the cover is with Lord Jesus Christ. Trust in Him. And, you know, you have to protect yourself. And I realize this is dangerous, but I've been involved in dangerous activities, fighting the state, fighting death, trying to keep people alive all my life. When I was a trooper, I led the state in drunk driving arrest. The fatality rate was lower. Evil, wicked people, I believe demons and demonic forces were involved in my termination from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. I mean, you got to think about it. I wasn't your average trooper. Better educated than any of them. Tested legally. My cases have been tested legally in court for years and years. I was lowering the amount people got killed on the roadways dramatically, astronomically, by DUI enforcement. And I'll show you a little example about why does DUI arrest lower the fatality rate, and why it makes such a huge difference in making arrest. So I got a quarter here. Tell you a little bit about statistics. This is a quarter, and talk about odds and probability. So we'll get under this light, and this is science. So this is a quarter, I think. And if you flip this quarter, then it'll either come up heads or tails, right? That's why they do it at the beginning of a football game. Let's flip this quarter. Okay, so here we go here. I'm just telling you a little bit. It came up heads this time. See, it came up heads. You can see it here. Okay, all right. So the odds of this quarter, without any intervening forces, when I flip it, is it'll be heads or tails. Let's flip it again and see what it is. And I'm going to tell you about statistics. There's a point behind this, so hang with me here. So I'll flip it again, and okay, came up heads again. Heads, right there, heads again. Wow. So look at that. So you think, and this is a fallacy, that if I flip it again, it'll come up heads again, because it's come up heads twice. The odds, though, of heads or tails is the same. It's 50% heads and 50% tails. That's the odds of me flipping this quarter. That's it's even. It could come up heads, it could come up tails. And each time is a separate event. So let's flip it again. Here we go. Wow, came up heads again. Three times it came up heads. So let's do it again. Let's do it again. 3 times. So 3 times in a row. So if you were calling the shots, you'd say, hey, it's going to come up heads again. because it's come up 3 times, right? So, which is a fallacy, because it's even every single time. At a 50% chance of heads and 50% chance of tails, even though it came up heads every time. Let's flip it again. Flip it again. So, okay, wow, look at this. It came up tails that time. So we got 3 heads and 1 tail. Now, if you flip it again, and we won't right now, and this is statistics. If you flip it again, then it's got a 50% chance coming up heads, 50% chance coming up the tails. It went on a string. It went on a string of 3 heads. So you think, well, the odds it'll come up heads, but the odds are 50% and 50%. It's 50% chance probability it'll come up heads, and 50% probability it'll come up tails. That's why in a football game they flip a coin, because each side has the equal probability of heads or tails. So it's a fair way to decide who receives the kick, and who receives the punt. Both teams have a fair chance of getting heads or tails. There's no rigging it. But you say, well, it came up, make sure I'm on the sidewalk. It came up 3 times heads, so the probability's not the same. But that's the law of large term numbers. Says that I'm talking about why DUI enforcement makes a difference. Heavy DUI enforcement, like I did, and I knew that's why I did it, makes a difference in lowering the fatality rate, because it's statistics, probability. It's science. And a lot of these state patrolmen, a lot of these supervisors, majors, they don't have any education, they don't know this. And science is, God made science. Things aren't random. Things aren't random. God made organization, and because God created the earth, He organized it. We have organization. You have a creator. There's organization and design to the world and events. Now, there are things that happen at random, out of the ordinary, that had a low probability, but they're not random. They still had a probability. There's organization and design to the world, the universe, because the ultimate God, creator behind everything. It's not random. Now, a lot of scientists and evolutionists would tell you that, oh, everything's random, everything's just happened by chance. Yeah, okay. If we were 2 foot closer to the sun, what would happen? 2 foot further away. Maybe somebody put it where it was at. Maybe somebody flung the earth into existence, put it exactly where it needed to be, or it would burn up or freeze. There's a reason it's the only inhabited planet, because somebody put it exactly where it needed to be. That's organization design. You look at your cell phone and tell me that just sat for millions of years and came together where it can make calls and do all kinds of stuff. Just by random, it evolved. Your cell phone evolved. No, you look at creation. You know, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth His handiwork. And we're talking about odds and probability. Well, I made a lot of drunk driving arrests, and I'm under danger, and the reason I do it, and odds and probability. But the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth His handiwork. Handiwork means somebody designed this. This is not random. God designed the earth and the world and the fullness thereof. Nothing has ever been out of His control. Now, there's things happen out of the ordinary, but it's still within the realm of God's probability that it would happen, and God has an ultimate plan and design. So science and statistics is God ordained. I mean, things don't happen by random. Things are within God's control. Like the birth and size of babies, if you will look statistically, most things form a bell curve. They fall within a normal bell curve statistically. Things don't happen at random. They fall within a normal pattern of events, and that's what statistics does. It measures the normal pattern of events. And the law of large term numbers says that in the long run, an event will happen as often as it's supposed to, according to what? Its probability. Let's see if I can get across the street without getting killed. The main thing is to stay 6 foot above ground. Hello? The main thing is to stay 6 foot above ground. And crossing the road, you have a high probability of getting killed if you don't pay the hell attention to what you're doing. So we got some stuff here. Talking about statistics we'll go over. Talking a little bit about what I learned in college. You can learn statistics on your own, but statistics is something, is science that God created. You can look at your cell phone. It didn't get here by chance. It didn't evolve through millions of years. You can look at the organization and design of things and see that there's something that created that. It didn't get here by chance. Earth, the world, we didn't get here by chance. There's too much organization and design. It's too organized, too designed for a master creator, the God of the universe, without him designing it and organizing it, putting it together. Now we're in a state of disrepair now. It's the fall of man because man rejected God and disobeyed him, and things are deteriorating to a God. When God made everything was perfect, now it's not perfect. We're in the fall. Things are deteriorating. Evolutionists would have you to believe that things are getting better. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're falling apart, and God's allowing it to because man turned against God. But statistics are, you can measure things because God has organized things. So you can apply numbers, science, to God's creation, and there's odds and probability of events happening. And in life, there's no sure thing, but you can put the odds in your favor in things. And that's what science is about. And it is not unchristian. You should trust in God. Absolutely trust in God. He's the ultimate. He can make things happen you never would think would happen, and change the course of events, world events, through first you have to accept Jesus into your heart, and through prayer. Pray into God, praying, asking God to change events, and asking God to work in your favor, and He will, and He will help. That is the truth. That is my faith. That is my belief. And I would encourage everybody, and all this bad stuff I'm going over, which it is bad, pray about things. God can intervene and change statistics in your favor. But as a Christian, we also should use science and knowledge. I mean, I believe God heals, and I know that He does. And we can pray and ask Him to heal us in our sickness and illness. And I believe that He will. Sometimes He won't. You can't challenge God why He doesn't help you and He helps somebody else. God knows why, and we didn't create the world, and we don't have the love of God does, and we have no right to challenge Him. Job ultimately came to that decision. Good things happen to bad people. But we can pray, and God will help us through problems sometimes. God sometimes won't eliminate the problems. Now, sometimes He will eliminate them. But I'm in danger. I know I'm in danger. I was in danger when I was a trooper. I could have hid under the bed, quit my job, and done something else. And because I was lowering the fatality rate statistically. But God, and I use science to protect myself. And the way I was lowering the fatality rate is statistics. Now, in the law of large term numbers, in the long run, an event will happen as often as it's supposed to, according to its probability. So we know, if you know the odds of something, then, or if you know something typically reduces something or adds to the probability of something, then if you want an event to occur or not occur, then simply put, as an intelligent human being, you decrease or increase the odds of things happening. And this is what an education will teach you. That Charlie Kirk, you know, you can self-teach yourself, but an education is a good thing. Getting a credentials from the University of Tennessee, learning statistics in an academic environment is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It teaches you odds and probability. That is from God, I believe. That's one thing that teaches you, that it reinforces my belief that there is a God, because there's organization. You can put numbers on things. But if you know something increases odds or decreases odds, then if you want that particular event to happen, then you do what increases your odds. If you know something decreases your odds by science of an event happening that you don't want to happen, then you do what decreases the odds. That's just science. That's just knowledge. That's just using God's organization and design practically to come to a result that you want. That's like medical doctors. I believe in prayer, that God answers prayer, and you should pray. And God's the ultimate arbitrator of whether somebody lives or dies. That's in His hands. If God doesn't want you to die and a truck's headed for you, you won't die. You're not going out of this world until God allows it. If God wants you to live, it don't matter. You can be in the middle of a nuclear bomb and you wouldn't die. You hear miraculous things, people surviving plane crashes. It wasn't their time. God didn't want them to die. If it's your time to die, you can be hidden in your bathtub on a clear sunny day and die. That's where they tell you to get during a hurricane or a earthquake or a major event. If you can't get anywhere safer in your household, that's the safest place. So, but your life is ultimately determined. God decides, but God has created organization and design that we can use statistically to improve our odds of things. And where you have major events that take place, like the seriousness of drunk driving, and where it kills hundreds of thousands of people all across the United States every year. People get drunk or impaired by drugs and alcohol, and they kill themselves and other people. And as a society, as a law enforcement, it's a social problem too, as well as a criminal problem. Then you think, what can we do about this? And law enforcement knows this. What can we do about this? For the most part, some of them are idiots, never been to college, and sit up there at the top of the THP not knowing, talk about medicine. Medicine impairs you. No, it doesn't. Medicine doesn't impair you. Narcotics impair you. And they can be prescribed medicine, but medicine doesn't impair people. So if you find a pill bottle of somebody's blood pressure medicine, Major Stacey Headley's going to have you arrested. She put it out on a podcast. She doesn't know what she's saying, doesn't know what she's doing. She's a danger to you and society. So let's talk about statistics. So if you know what can kill you, and you know what can keep you alive, then you know that there's no guarantees, none whatsoever. God's in control. You first trust in the Lord and pray and ask God to help you and bless you and protect you. And I pray right now that God blesses and protects and leads and guides all my followers and viewers in Jesus' name, and brings you to the saving knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ. But I can't force people to do that. But so God's the first place to go. Pray. Now, when I was a Tennessee State Trooper, I carried a little New Testament Bible in my front pocket. Wow, these people are flying. Over my heart, because that's what I believe, because it had the gospel in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John of Jesus Christ. And if somebody ever shot me, then I wanted that Bible over my heart so it would maybe catch a bullet. That's one of the reasons. And also because if I did get killed, I wanted people to know what I believe. They find my New Testament Bible in my heart. You can look at pictures, and I'll show you one maybe tomorrow, where there's a big clump in my right front pocket, my left front pocket, over my heart. A little New Testament Bible in my pocket, and it stuck out just a little bit. Now, I think personally that a lot of supervisors with the THP, it was hidden. I didn't tell prisoners that, I tried to be decent and honest. I didn't witness to prisoners. They're in custody. They're not free. They shouldn't have to hear your religious faith. Now, there's different arguments about that. But I kept it in my pocket, didn't go out reading it to people and spreading religious beliefs under state law. Excuse me, let me get some water. Yep. But so yeah, is everybody in here listening? Let's see. Go down to the bottom here. But I got almost 100 people in here. Like, share, comment. We're talking about statistics, odds, and probability. Got some stuff here. If we get to when we get to the bridge, we're gonna go into a little picture. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and quite a few minutes away, so it'll be towards the end of the broadcast. But in talking about odds and probability, the law of large term numbers, event will happen as often as it's supposed to, and I keep saying that because it's the truth. An event will happen as often as it's supposed to according to its probability. So if you flip a quarter, 50-50 odds, it will show up heads or tails 50% of the time. Now, it had a string of 3 heads, and I flipped it 4 times, and it had 1 tail. But if you flip it, the law of large term numbers, enough times, it will come close to the 50-50. It'll be 50% of the time it'll hit tails, and 50% of the time it'll hit heads. It may have strings of heads and tails, but that doesn't change the probability that it'll go back to the original 50%, because that's the probability. It's heads and tails, equal chance of it hitting either one. And that's the same thing in life, is that if you know that drunk driving causes fatalities, and impaired driving under the influence of narcotics cause fatalities, then if you remove the person that's drunk driving that potentially could cause a wreck, if you remove them from the road, you are lowering the odds of a fatal wreck or serious injury, because you're taking the opportunity, the odds, away from them having a wreck or somebody else. Now, you don't know every time that they would cause a fatality, but you know that science tells you when they do tests that most fatalities and most serious wrecks with injury, you can check people's blood scientifically, and it's drugs or alcohol. Now, the Highway Patrol and the dirty former governor put out commercials about not wearing a seatbelt, which is not responsible for mass fatality, but that's just a dirty lie. After they got rid of me, they acted like it ain't drunk driving that Trooper Morgan did, it's people not wearing their seatbelt. That's just a dirty lie. Let's step off the road here. Got a car coming. Increase our probability of staying alive. So if you know that arresting people, taking them off the road, keeps more people alive, then you arrest more people for drunk driving, because you know statistically that if you keep doing that, more people are going to stay alive. It's statistics, odds and probability. Now, law enforcement knows that. Some of the majors with THP don't know that. They don't have any education, or they don't believe science. But so if you go to a wreck and you see a child seriously injured in a drunk driving wreck, like the incident I went to on I-75, dispatched to a wreck in the middle of the night, and arrived on the scene. A car was overturned in the ditch on I-75 just before you get to Raccoon Valley Road, coming down the hill. Car overturned in the ditch. The ambulance was there when I got there. I pulled over, and they're getting a little baby, a little child out of the back seat of the car. It was overturned, and a man driving that was there at the scene identified the driver, the only adult there, and the child was in a child restraint device in the back seat. But when the car flipped over, something hit it in the head, and seriously injured the child. They took him to the emergency room, and they were critically injured. A little 3-year-old child in the backseat of the car. And when you see things like this, and then the driver, I talked to the driver, and could smell alcohol in his breath, and commenced to giving him what field sobriety test he would take, and determined that he was under the influence of alcohol. That was the father of the child. And he had his child in the backseat of the car, but I would thought he was intoxicated, had probable cause to make an arrest, and I did. They took blood from him at the hospital. He didn't want to give blood, but when you're involved in an accident where you injure somebody, the state can take blood from you without your permission. If it's a felony DUI, so he didn't have to give me permission. And he didn't give me permission, but we took his blood. Anyway, he hurt his little 3-year-old child, and he needed to answer for that, so he wouldn't do it again. And his alcohol level was 0.17, so he was drunk. And evidently, he thought that it's okay to drive drunk as long as with your little child in the car. Not to mention you're endangering other people's children. As long as you put the child in a child restraint device. Yeah, right, didn't matter. He's so drunk. And witnesses told me that he came down the hill, was driving at a high rate of speed, passing cars, and for no apparent reason passed the car, and he swerved right and went off the road, went off the median, and hit the ditch and flipped over. And for no apparent reason, because he was drunk in the curve going downhill, and drunk, critically injuring his 3-year-old child. I went up on the scene. They were getting the child out. When you see things like that, and then you put the two and two together, that this drunk driver, man, hurt his own son, it was his daughter, in a drunk driving wreck. And that's just the least of it. The child survived. The family called me and thanked me for my assistance in arresting the driver that was driving their daughter around in a car, drunk, and making him pay the consequences to where it'd be less likely for him to do that. You see that, and it makes you think, well, I should try to arrest as many people before that happens as possible to lower the probability that would happen. And that's just the least of it. I was on patrol in I'm just telling you why I arrested a lot of people for drunk driving. I wasn't trying to be a hero or make a name for myself. I seen things and I said, man, I need to try to do something about that. I've got state power and state authority, blue lights, and the power to do stuff about it, to stop cars, and I need to use it to lower the fatality rate. Statistically, odds and probability is that if you arrest drunk drivers, the less fatalities there'll be. You're taking away a probability. You're taking away the odds. You're lowering the odds that people get killed in car wrecks. Statistically, if you have a tack and you flip a tack, it's not even. If you flip a tack, unlike a quarter's 50-50. Makes no difference, 50-50. It'll land up heads or tails about 50% of the time if you flip it enough times. If you have a tack is not 50-50. A tack is uneven. It's got a point and a head and a flat side. So if you flip a tack, it's about 60% of the time it'll land on the back side, the flat side. And about 40% of the time it'll land up on the point side. So it's not even. So the odds and probability are in the flat side. So if you want to win a contest, and you got the choice of whether to flip a tack or a quarter, you want the odds in your favor, choose the tack, and your choice, rather than heads or tails, is that it'll hit the flat side, because 60% of the time you're going to win, because the odds are that it's going to land on the flat side. Now it'll still land on the point side 40% of the time, but the odds are in your favor that you will win most of the time. With a quarter, it's even. But with DUI enforcement, if you don't do anything about it, traffic fatalities are going to rise. There's a high probability of wrecks involving drunk drivers without law enforcement there. But just common sense, if you take them off the road before they have an opportunity to wreck, then you lower the chance of them wrecking and hurting their little 3-year-old, and I'll tell you about a worse wreck. The reason why I did it, and you also protect them and protect society, and you send a message out that if you are in this state, in this county, in this district, we heavily enforce drunk driving. If you get in a car and drive, we're out here looking for you. And there's a high probability, word gets out, that you will be arrested and incarcerated for doing that. So it makes people less likely. You're cutting down on their odds. They know. They see you driving through bar parking lots in a marked car. And I did that a lot. I drove through bar parking lots in a marked state trooper car to let them know, hey, I'm out here. I'm out here. You know, if you get in a car, you're taking a chance of going to jail. And the reason I was doing that was to make them take a taxi, and I'd drive through bar parking lots quite often, every night, and let them see the marked patrol car. Let them see I'm out here. And then all of a sudden, after I pulled out of the lot, a little while later, you'd see taxis start pulling up. Now it's the Ubers, where there's a high probability of getting raped in Ubers. I'd take a taxi. They are fingerprinted by city police departments in cities and regulated by city police departments where they know who they are. They put their thumbprints down in most cases. Uber and Lyft are not fingerprinted. You don't know who they are. So there's a probability of getting raped or robbed. And I know people got to get a ride. You get a ride however you want to, but taxis are safer. Because if a taxi driver does something wrong to you, they know who they are. They have their address, phone number, have their damn thumbprint, have their criminal history. So a taxi driver knows when they're sitting in the car, and I wouldn't hurt anybody anyway, I'm nonviolent. They know who I am, they know exactly where I live, and they've used my information that they've got to harass me at times. I mean, you know, they've called me about people complaining where I didn't do anything, and it's harassing. Listen to a third-party baloney complaint, and that's not part of it. If the complaint don't make sense, drop it. Don't harass a taxi driver because he's got his phone number on the side of a car and you know who he is when the complainant is a dirty liar. If you got no evidence, leave us alone. But they don't do that because they're not very smart people in law enforcement. You know, high positions without even knowing anything about statistics. And taxi drivers, one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. They don't tell Uber and Lyft drivers that when they hook them up for pennies on the hour. And a lot of them lose money because taxi driving, if you compare the statistics, homicide rates, people murdered on the job, the most dangerous job is a convenience store worker. You know, my education's in criminology. The second most dangerous job, I'm talking about felonious murdering somebody, not accidental death. Construction is the most dangerous job as far as people getting killed, you know, falling off ladders and the like, I guess. Or getting crunched in ditches. You hear about that every now and then. It's a dangerous job. Be careful. May God protect our construction workers that build society. And but the second most dangerous job, as far as not getting accidentally injured, it's high probability of getting accidentally injured, is police getting feloniously murdered, and you hear about it a lot, and God bless our peacemakers. And I love police officers. We need to have better educated ones. And some of them are great. And taxi cab drivers are the same rate of being feloniously murdered as police. So the job I do is as dangerous as being a police officer. The same number of people get killed statistically, odds and probability. My odds of getting murdered on the job, shot and killed are the same, or stabbed to death are the same as a Knoxville police officer. You look, the last Knoxville police officer was killed off duty in 1987, I think, on Cherry Street. And I think they found the person that did it, and he was even off duty. The last taxi cab driver that was killed was in Knoxville, Tennessee, same city, over in South Knoxville. He was shot to death through the back seat, 2014. So taxi cab driving is dangerous, according to odds and probability. So I've always did something very dangerous, and prayed that God would protect me. And I'm still lowering the fatality rate. So if you know that something lowers your odds or probability of getting killed or other people getting killed, then you pray first, then you do what lowers the odds, what lowers the probability. It's science. Because an event will happen as often as it's supposed to according to its probability. So if you lower the probability, you lower the odds of it happening. And like drunk driving, you arrest people that are out on the road drunk, arrest enough of them, and it will lower the fatality rate in an area, which is what I did because of seeing stuff like that little child being killed. And I quite frankly, I lowered the fatality rate in the state of Tennessee, arresting 2 and 3 drunk drivers a night that couldn't hurt their children before they had a wreck. They couldn't hurt their children. They couldn't hurt themselves. They couldn't hurt somebody else. Numbers don't lie. They gave me awards on top of awards for doing it. I didn't do it for the awards. I could care less about them awards. Somebody told me that they were asking for them back. You can have them. I don't care. I don't care about that. I guess the Major Stacy Headley thinks that'll make me mad if they take my awards back. You can have every one of those awards. I don't care. What I'm proud of is the people that didn't die because I put them in jail and tried to help them, and I also helped other innocent people that didn't get killed in drunk driving arrests. That's what I care about. That's kind of a joke to me. They think that's what's important, the awards and the honor you get from the public. No, that doesn't matter to me. I'll get all the awards together, and you can meet me at a separate location, or I'll leave them there for you to pick up. You can burn them. You can burn them to hell. I don't care about that. I could care less. I mean, it's like Jesus offered me. We'll give you leadership over this city if you bow down and worship this Satan. Hell no. Maybe you ought to do things for public safety instead of promotion, power, and money, and not worry about damn awards. I didn't ask for any awards. I was doing it long before they gave me awards. I was doing it because of science, odds and probability. It kept people alive, 6 foot above ground. That's what I did it for. So, I'll tell you what I did it for. I was on patrol one night in Knoxville, here at the Knoxville Post. Got a call. Dispatch, they were a 1091, a 1046, 1091. A wreck involving mass 1091 fatalities. Several people killed in a wreck. It was on Maynardville Highway. So, turn on my blue lights and siren, head to Maynardville Highway, not knowing what I expect. And this stuff is surreal. You hear about fatal wrecks on television, and it makes you sad. Let me make sure the volume's on. And I'll tell you about this major incident that reinforced, hey, you need to do this with everything you have. It's important. Let's see how many people I got in here. Thank you all. God bless y'all. Like, share, comment, contribute. And we'll tell you about this, the reason why I made a lot of drunk driving arrests. As opposed to Major Stacy Heatherly doing stuff for promotions, and her buddy Lionel Russell and his brother Coral Russell that do it for promotions, money, and power. Yeah, I did it to save people's lives. Demonic influences were involved in getting rid of me. When you're saving a lot of people's lives, Satan will intervene sometimes. But God's still on my side. I won't fear what they can do to me. And I'm still fighting with David with rocks. Let me see how many people I got in here, and I'll tell you about the incident that happened on Maynardville Highway with the mass fatalities, several fatalities. Tell you what it done to my heart and mind, that I was already arresting a lot of drunk drivers. We'll tell you about that. Let me see how many people got in here. Maybe read a comment or two, and we'll tell you why I did what I did. For awards, yeah, right. That's what they think. They literally think you think like them. They literally don't understand people that care about other people, because they damn sure don't. They say they do. They got the gab. They got the words to say, but it's all fake. It's all not real. These are people in government power that drive your patrol cars around while they're drunk and use your state tax dollars to facilitate their wickedness. You won't hear that on any other channel. If they take me off Twitter or Telegram or Rumble if they take me off Facebook for telling the truth. I'm not saying you ought to do anything violent to these people. I'm saying you ought to vote the dirty transvestite alleged Christian governor out of office, but they can't handle that. Vote because they want to sniper us. They're violent, we're not. We provided for public safety. Let me see how many people got on here, and we'll continue this story about what happened on Maynardville Highway in a very bad wreck and involving a child. So the first one I told you about, a child was critically injured. Let's see about this one. What happened by, was it drunk drivers? Impaired drivers, I'll tell you. Let me see how many people's in here and check the comments. God bless y'all. Like, share, and comment. And subscribe. We only like a few more subscribers and we'll have over 1,000 subscribers. Get the message out better to continue this social movement. Power to you, the people. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Thank y'all for joining. Let's check it now. And thank you all. And stay tuned for the rest of the story. Let's see here. Is it still as ever? Okay, got a bunch of. So we'll copy a few of these. Got almost 70 people in here. And I'm screenshotting the Eric. When California goes, Yellowstone goes, so we might have to fault lines at the Salton Sea for lithium and subsidized electronic Elon. I don't know what that means. Let me copy some of the comments here so I can read them and maybe respond to good ones later and see what y'all saying. SO on, yeah. Stuck stored. Okay. Talk about Elon Musk. Nobody's worth as much money as he's got. And Elon Musk is messing up fighting with Trump. Trump will beat him. So let's copy let's see. Charles, I had my identity missed. I don't know what they're talking about. So let's and we're almost to the bridge. So we'll finish this little story about Andersonville Pike and saving people on the roadway. So I got dispatched to Andersonville Pike and like Forrest Gump out here, people know me. And dispatched to a 1046, multiple fatalities on Maynardville Pike. It's near Andersonville Highway and Emory Road. So I go out there, emergency equipment, and my sergeant's headed out there with me. A great man I had before, the sergeant that came out internal affairs. They didn't care about fatalities. He cared about his promotion, his political career. He cared about his career, his rear. Go ahead, you'll answer to God for what you do. And you'll answer to me as far as I can fight you on the face of this planet. That's what God put me here for. I'm a fighter. Getting better at it every day. Getting almost 500,000 followers. So I'm headed to fatality. On Maynardville Highway, mass fatalities. I pull up on the wreck. There's a white Crown Victoria on the right side of the road, like coming towards Knoxville. On the left side of the road, like coming towards Knoxville. And there is a Cadillac that's sitting on the other side of the road, dark colored. And walk up to the car, and the ambulance has already been there. They there's 3 people in the car, and the Cadillac, I think it was, is head towards Maynardville. Front end crunched in on both cars. They evidently hit head on. And looked in the car, and the ambulance had already got a young girl out of the front seat, passenger side front seat, that survived the wreck, and they were taking her to the hospital. And in the back seat was a 13-year-old boy slumped over in the back seat. The ambulance people had already pronounced him dead. It's dead laying in the back seat. 13 years old, young child, a young man killed in the back seat of the car. He didn't appear like he'd had his seatbelt on. I don't know, the ambulance people might have removed it. And he was laying over, slumped over toward the right. Still remember to this day, dead. The ambulance people told me he was deceased. They left the deceased in the car so that so that we could take pictures and for later investigation at the scene. And in the front seat was a lady that was dead, sitting in the front seat. Her head bent over up against the steering wheel, dead. So 2 people in that car, 1 survivor. There's 3 people in the car going down the road, 1 survivor. And on the other side of the road, coming the other direction, was the white Crown Victoria, Ford Crown Victoria, similar to the car I was driving, the Ford Crown Victoria. It's surreal. It shows you he was dead, all crunched up in the front seat on the emergency lane over on Mainerville Highway, coming the opposite direction. So I talked to witnesses and called the CERT team out because of multiple fatalities. Three people killed that one wreck. And we're talking about getting drunk people off the road ahead of time, which I was already doing. And this was in 2010. And 3 people dead. So I talked to witnesses, and they said the white Crown Victoria, and it's surreal, it looked like the car I was driving. You know, you're thinking, hey, that could happen to me, and it can. And it's surreal when you're up on the scene working these bad wrecks, because you hear about wrecks on television, but when you are up on the scene where it happened that night and you're looking at it up close and personal, seeing the deceased, respectfully the deceased, even a young child, and you put it together what happened, you're looking at mortality right close up and personal, how easy, quick, fast it is to go. This be your last breath, last day on earth. You never know. You better have your heart right with God, because you have illusion of control, as I spoke about in another video. You're not in control of anything, God is. And if it's your time to go, you're gone. Even in a head-on collision, it wasn't that young lady's time to go, but you're looking at it and you piece it together, what happened, and you see how fragile life is. Very fragile. It makes you a different kind of person. It can make you better or worse. Some of these sick people in the highway patrol, I don't know how in the hell they can go out and look at that stuff and not try to use their legal education, not try to use their law enforcement power to lower the fatality rate, to use their blue lights, to enforce the law, stop people from speeding, pull people over and get them out of the car when they're drunk driving. I don't know how in the hell they can do that. They don't do it. That's their job responsibility. Odds and probability, if you pull them out of a car before they have a wreck, there's not mass fatalities in the middle of the damn road on Mainerville Highway, troopers. Why don't you do your damn job? I did. Maybe it's because they know what Major Stacy Heatherly and Lionel Russell will do. That's 3 people dead, a 13-year-old child in the back seat dead. So let's investigate it, figure out what the hell happened here. I'll tell you what the hell happened, what happens in most fatalities. It ain't lack of seatbelt use. Bill has been. You dirtbag that don't care about human life, got your name on UT, which he did a commercial right after they fired me about lack of seatbelt use. He didn't want to do something about DUI enforcement because he knew he just got rid of the head DUI enforcer, because demonic forces are involved in these dirtbags, I believe. But so let's investigate what the hell happened. I'll tell you what happened, troopers. Listen to me, officers. This is what happened, and you know it. You got to do your job. But one of the reasons why they don't do their job is because they won't be protected in doing their job. If they save too many lives, they'll lose their life, lose their livelihood, get kicked off medical insurance by people that are influenced by demons and devils. That's exactly what I think. By people that know you got a New Testament Bible in your front pocket, that you're out for people's welfare and good. That's what happened. That's what happened. Ultimately, because we fight against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's the real battle. Devils and demons use these sick people. Devils and demons use these sick people. So, investigate that wreck. Hang on, I'll tell you what was the culprit of that incident. And y'all probably figured out, but it's much more serious than what you think. Let's see how many people got in here and we'll finish that little story. And we're at the bridge, we'll show you some pictures. We'll show you some evidence to back up what I'm saying. Prosecuting people in state government power. There's a little dog sticking out the window there. There's a little dog there. Little dog sticking out. The old man don't want to wait zombies. So yeah, so we'll show you some pictures at the bridge and tell you about the culprit of that incident. Let's see how many people we got in here. Thank y'all for listening. Subscribe. We're almost over 1,000 viewers. Almost got 500,000, or almost 1,000 subscribers. Got almost 500,000 viewers. So we're getting the word out against these dirtbags that have protesters that have overtaken, surreptitious, seditiously overtaken our state government power, and I'm pointing them out, calling them out. In danger. I know I was in danger when I was arresting drunk drivers too, but that lowered the fatality rate. This right here, this message will lower the fatality rate. Get some of these scumbags in jail, get them out of our offices where they can't damage people, which is exactly what they do. So let's pull up here, walk up here. I'll finish my story and got some pictures to show you from my office over here, which is my office over here is the Henley Street Bridge. Kind of unique. I got an education in sociology. I don't have to follow rules that don't hurt anybody. So yeah, we do things a little different. So let me see how many people got in here. We'll finish the story, tell you the culprit. Hang on with me. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and contribute. Help us get this message against the dirtbags all across the state of Tennessee. God bless y'all, I pray. Here we go. Let's see here. Yeah, over 100 people. Over 100 people. Thank you all. Hang in here with me. Let me tell you the rest of the story. Copy some of the comments. So hopefully you can see me. We'll get down here where it's a little better. Y'all can see the backed up traffic. So what happened in that wreck is, got on the scene, 3 people deceased, 2 in the Cadillac, I think it was, dark colored Cadillac, going towards Maineville. 1 deceased in a white Ford Crown Victoria, like a police car, except it wasn't a police car, coming towards Knoxville. Makes you think that's the same car I'm driving, not a marked police car. But you see, kind of makes you think just a little bit. And it's not like seeing it on television. It's not like seeing it on television. It's surreal. We're going to go down here. It's surreal. It is, you put together what happened, and like I'm telling you about a wreck on television, you put together what happened, and you see the fragileness of life. So it's more impactful when you're at home the scene, and you hear about a child being killed. You hear about a child being killed on the news in a wreck, but you're right there up front and close, personal, and seeing them right there, and putting together how it happened. And it's surreal. It's very impactful. The first couple of fatal wrecks I worked, I couldn't even eat. I'd go home and I couldn't eat. I wasn't hungry, and really just in a state of shock, because I'm human. I didn't like to see that stuff. And you think, what can I do about it? You can't do nothing about them. But what you can do is you can go enforce drunk driving laws and cause that to happen fewer, because statistically it will happen fewer if you lower the odds of it happening. So what happened in that wreck, talk to witnesses, is that the man in the white car came down Maineville Highway at a high rate of speed, and he got in the left lane. He was in the right lane coming towards Knoxville, and he got in the left lane passing cars. And after he passed cars, according to witnesses, he stayed in the left lane instead of getting back over in the lane. So he was going in the wrong direction at a high rate of speed, and he could have got over and didn't. And the lady in the Cadillac was in her lane of traffic, and she slammed head into him. It wasn't her fault at all. But you wonder why. You see a car headed your direction, and not blaming her, why wouldn't you get over in the emergency lane or stop? Or she might have made some maneuver, but you think maybe her abilities were impaired somewhat, a little bit? I mean, you see a car headed at a high rate of speed, get over in your lane of traffic, and I don't know the exact details of this, but according to witnesses, he had been traveling in the opposite lane of traffic for a long time. Why didn't she get over? I don't know. I don't know, except for there may be one culprit. The guy in the white Ford Crown Victoria that caused the wreck, that was passing cars on the wrong side of the road and stayed in the opposing lane, even though he had already passed all the cars, he could have got over. He came back, was crunched, killed too. You can't prosecute a dead body, but he had .06 alcohol level. So below the legal limit alcohol level, it's still impaired. And also marijuana in his system. So he was an impaired driver. Impaired enough to where he made stupid decisions. He would have been charged with drunk driving. Driving under the influence of marijuana, and also he had .06 alcohol level. And the lady in the Cadillac that had her two children, her daughter in the front seat that survived, her 13-year-old in the back seat that didn't survive, that was going legally, lawfully in her lane of traffic towards Maynardville, that got hit head on. She had a therapeutic level of narcotics in her system. So she was somewhat impaired. Now, had she been completely sober, not impaired at all, who knows whether she would have been able to see and get out of the way. But her mental faculties were somewhat impaired by alcohol, not by alcohol, excuse me, by narcotics. So both drivers in that incident were under the influence somewhat of alcohol and or drugs. In one incident where 3 people were killed, a 13-year-old. I'm not saying she caused the wreck, but she was under the influence, therapeutic level. She wasn't 100% there. Had she been sober, she'd have got over, I don't know. The other guy was marijuana, and also he was a complete culprit, and also alcohol. Not a legal limit of alcohol, .06, but marijuana that impairs your judgment, decision making, that caused him to do something highly dangerous, high rate of speed in the wrong lane, could have got over and did. 3 people dead. So you work that wreck and you see those people dead, and the father of that little 13-year-old boy called me and talked to me about the wreck, and I told him what I seen and what I thought happened. He was very kind. How do you console somebody that loses their 13-year-old child? I mean it is horrific. What you do, and what I did was, hey, I'm doing the right thing. I am trying to do the best I can, arresting drunk drivers before they wreck, and trying to save little 13-year-olds and little 3-year-olds that get critically injured, and trying to do the best I can about it. And I was doing the best I can about it. I arrested more people than any trooper in the state, and that is the reason why. So let's get into some of our dialogue, and that's odds and probability. You lower the odds of drunk driving, you lower the odds in your life of something you don't want bad to happen. You lower the odds and it's less likely to happen. You increase the odds of something you want to happen, it's more likely to happen. There's no guarantees in life, but the odds and probability are a real thing, and that's the way it works out. Remember the quarter. You flip this enough times, it may have a string of heads or tails. But if you keep flipping it, you keep arresting drunk drivers, it'll lower the fatality rate. You keep letting them go and keep these people in office, and like now, the fatality rate's 45% higher. If you keep flipping this enough times, it'll even out to 50%. You flip a tack, it'll even out to 60%. The odds are higher. So, vote these people out of office. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this lady here that is raising the fatality rate. Loser drunk using THP for her own private taxi. Costs hundreds to get killed on Tennessee roads. Should be arrested immediately for fraud. She is lying danger to public safety. So that is what is causing the fatality rate to skyrocket. Now the news media praises her. they say good things about her. This is Malcolm X, and I'm not a fan of Malcolm X, but he said something real important. Same thing Donald Trump says. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed. They'll have you hating me and loving the people who are doing the oppression. Yeah, they'll have you loving her that are doing the oppressing. Right there, that thing shows up in clothes on duty that shows everything she's got, and you'll hate the people that are being oppressed. And you're being oppressed too. You're being oppressed. Now, and these people, look at this. How do you make sergeant TAP? You arrest more people than anybody in the state? No. You lower the fatality rate, keep 13-year-olds from getting killed in the backseat of the car, lower the probability of that. Numbers don't lie, that's what I did. Does that get you promoted? No. No. Who's your brother? Who's your daddy? Let people get killed, step over their body on your way to state tax money. Look at this right here. Sergeant Lowell Russell and Sergeant Cole Russell. Wow. Keep it in the family. Ever worked in same district together as supervisor and trooper? Good luck making a complaint no matter what. So they worked in the same district together. That's how you get promoted in the highway patrol. Who's your daddy? Who's your brother? Let's show you this right here. Now, we're talking about people in power corruption. Why the fatality rate is 45% higher in 2024. Now, Major Tracy Trotz to the bathroom said that, and I'll show you. He said that he came down to the scene of the wreck I was involved in because of the seriousness of the incident. That's what he said. Which is a lie. He's a perjurer. He lied. He didn't come down to the scene to investigate the wreck. I wasn't involved in the wreck. I was in a pursuit with the wreck. So he lied under oath. He testified under oath. Didn't even do that. They do things. They sniper you surreptitiously. Here's some other people. Let me show you this right here. Our law enforcement community, please repost to protect fellow citizens from abuse of these enforcement officers. I posted this and Facebook took it off. THP's finest and nepotism displayed again. Wife, husband, drinking buddy. Right there. Major Stacy Heather now got promoted. Her husband's promoted in the he investigates stuff. He makes truthful decisions concerning you. Yeah. And there's her buddy. I wonder if you let us know you didn't think your post should be deleted. They deleted my post because I told you the truth about. So yeah, the news media and social media won't let you post the truth about stuff, will they? But the truth is the truth, and I'll post it. You won't hear it anywhere else. If they delete me off this, find me on Telegram or Rumble. Remember the brand name Charles Van Morgan. And we'll keep putting out the truth, fighting these people in power. I showed you where they picked a rogue judge. They had a judge that would have decided honestly in my case, but they administratively reassign another judge, and they'll do the same to you. If they got a judge that's going to rule fairly, in your case, they'll appoint one that was promoted by the governor to rule against you, that'll lie for you. Here's the way they handle things in government power. So if you rule against the governor, you will get appointed to a higher judgeship position. No, you won't get appointed. But what if the gov is wrong? Rule for him anyway and get promoted. That's what they do. That's what these dirty judges do. Look at these dirty judges. There's the governor, and he promoted. He helps these people. Governor's Council for Judicial Appointments, Public Hearing and Interviews, Court of Appeals. So you get promoted by the governor if he knows that you've at a lower level, you rule in his favor. The dirty Christian governor, transvestite, that promoted Major Stacey Heatherly, that is promoted to major. He's over these promotions to administrative, to level positions. He promoted Major Stacey Heatherly knowing that she was on duty, not fit for duty. Now President Trump's got to call in the National Guard because troopers aren't fit for duty. They're not cleared, and they're out working shootings, and they're not fit for duty. I showed you that yesterday. It's not a joke. I mean, I'm laughing, and I shouldn't be, because people are getting killed because of these dirt bags. That's the way they got the system rigged in their favor. They don't care if you get killed. They can care less about you, your life, your family. They're Christians, and they claim, and they care about their dirty self. I'm just saying. Here's a verse I read in the Bible every day. The reason why I'm out here fighting them, and I can laugh about this. I can smile. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me. O thou most high. Many that fight against me. These people are powerful that fight against me. O thou most high. What time I'm afraid, I will trust in thee. In God will I praise his word. In God have I put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Psalms 56. Yeah, that's why I'm out here fighting these people. I'm not afraid of them. I trust in God. And look at the media. The media out here running me down why I can't win an election. And get Sergeant Lowell Russell promoted to, he's a state legislature without any legal education. How's he get promoted? Well, they put out information to the media that's a dirty lie. That's not the truth. So we've got some people looking. So yeah, they put out information that's a dirty lie. So, because Major Stacey Heatherly controls the damn news media, state-sponsored news, state-controlled news media. Look at this. When she was a sergeant, she had bad information put out. Sergeant Heatherly had direct contacts to the media. State of Tennessee Department of Safety, Stacey Heatherly, media release. She was the public information officer for the state of Tennessee, one of very few who knew about wreck, stealing pursuit tape and giving it to the media, most likely violated TSP policy surreptitiously. So she is the Stacey Heatherly, media release. She was the media person for the state of Tennessee. Wow, how's that work out? That's how they control the news media. She controls the news media. If she stops you for speeding in the news media, she won't write them a ticket. If she stops them for drunk driving, she won't arrest them for drunk driving. They do them favors to get lying news press. That's just the truth. And they try to shut me down for telling the truth. These people are wicked and dirty and dangerous to your public safety, health protection, and well-being. Did I get all that in there? Thank y'all for listening. God bless y'all. Here where the truth comes. Charles Van Morgan. In the morning, watch this show. I got some real truth for you. Let's vote these people out of office. They'd like to kill you. They'd like to kill you. They would. They don't care if you're killed in drunk driving wrecks. They'd like to kill me, but they ain't gonna get it done. Not going anywhere. So here you go. Here's how they get promoted. Look at this. Nepotism. Move over. She's behind the move over law. Move over for my wife, move over for my husband. Look at that. They're behind the move over law that puts you in danger. The move over law puts you in danger, protects them. Where are you supposed to move over to? Butt cheek 1, move over. Butt cheek 2, move over. I'll put that in there. For my wife, for my husband. Where are you supposed to move over? Right down their butt cheeks. Pointing it the same way. They got a move over law that they just enacted, which is a few years ago, which is when you're going down the interstate, a 2-lane road, major highway, and you see blue lights or yellow lights on the side of the road where a trooper's got a car stop, or a wrecker or one of their state vehicles with blue lights or yellow lights or red lights. The state law says you have to where you can, you have to move over in the other lane, not in the lane directly passing them. It's 2 lane. You have to move over. It's move over law in that lane. Or if you can't move over, so it's too much traffic, you have to slow down dramatically in order to, because move over law, when you see their lights. So when a trooper's there, another emergency vehicle law, you have to move over. And if you don't do that, it's up to 6 months in jail. They can put you in jail for 6 months if they stop you and you're convicted of violating the move over law. You don't move over, in their opinion, that you could have, or you don't slow down, in their opinion, that you didn't slow down enough. They can put you in jail for 6 months and a $500 fine for not moving over for them when they're telling you to. And the reality of that is, troopers need to stay out of the damn road. You got the whole side of the road, the emergency lane, walk around your car, stay out of the road. Because when people have to move over, they swerve over because they don't want to go to jail for 6 months. Top of the hill, and there's a state patrol car. They try to slam on their brakes, move over. It causes the citizens of this state to get injured, I believe. Now, they don't do statistics on that because they want to hide it, but they want you to worship these law enforcement officers like they're gods. They're supposed to be protecting you. Do they not know to stay out of the damn road? Because if you, and I'm sure it's caused wrecks, but they won't report it. So we need to get rid of that law that protects them and endangers you. It causes wrecks, and these people are behind it. So we'll go into this since I got it here, but so many people got on here. I'm going to read you this little thing about a witness that they covered up and show you about Stacey Heatherly, about her violating the comp rules. So let's see how many people I got in here. God bless y'all. Like, share, comment, contribute if you can. We sure appreciate it. Keep this message going. If you want to hear this anywhere else, the truth unbridled. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, we got over 100 people. God bless you all. Thank you. So hello. So we'll continue this little dialogue here. There's a nice lady. A lot of people zombies, they don't speak, which that's their business. We'll read this dialogue about Dawling. I like to point this out. They said I seen a wreck. The colonel of the Highway Patrol came down to the scene of the wreck that I was involved in because he lied under oath. He's a perjurer. He said because of the magnitude of the incident. Why did you come down and investigate this against Trooper Morgan yourself, Colonel? All over the state, there's fatal wrecks happening involving troopers. Why did you do that? Oh, because of the magnitude of the incident. One person that was drunk died in a wreck. That's not a magnitude incident. That happens all the time. Every day across the United States, someone kills herself in a drunk driving wreck. That's not a magnitude, a great incident. But he wants to blow it because of the magnitude of the incident. Okay. That's a lie. Colonel Tracy Trott, that lives up in Elizabethton, and I'm not going to say his address, I'm not doxing, is a dirty, low-down liar that's caused people to get killed. Tracy Trott, you're a dirtbag. You're a crook, you're a liar, you're a perjurer. Your butt ought to be in jail. You cause citizens to get killed. I can say that. Now, if they take me off YouTube for saying that, it's the truth. This is for public safety. We got another colonel in office that's just like him, Colonel Matt Perry. Hunchback of Notre Dame, just like him. So here's what the witness said. He had this witness report when he made the decision to come down and try to lie on me. He had this report right here. He knew that I didn't do anything wrong. He knew the car wasn't visible. We had this right up front in front of him when he decided to come down to Knoxville and rig it to where he saw the car after the fact that he parked there and rigged things. Lying Colonel Tracy Trott. Now look at this witness statement that he had in front of him, but he still felt the need to come down to Knoxville. Come down to Knoxville and lie about stuff. Look at this. Now Colonel Tracy Trott said he came to the scene of this incident because of the magnitude of the incident. When he had this report, it was a magnitude incident. Look at this report. This lady that seen the wreck testified 6 times that she couldn't see the wreck, that Colonel Tracy Trott came down and said, I should have seen it. When he had this report in front of him, 6 times it wasn't burning, that's one. So they interviewed her right after the wreck, same day. A few hours later, she called 911. She called 911 because she heard a wreck, not seen it. And she says 6 times that she couldn't see it. Colonel Tracy Trott knew this and still came down to try to say, well, what she said when she was right on the scene isn't true. I know better because I'm a god, Tracy Trott, and I don't like Trooper Van Morgan, so I'm going to lie and get rid of him, even though he lowers the fatality rate. Because I'm a corrupt colonel, I'm a dirtbag thug. That's what Tracy Trott is. That promoted her. You know, that's how they do. They're a danger to public safety. So let's go over this. This is the witness on the scene. Right here, look at this. It wasn't burning. I saw somebody and thought, well, maybe the fire, because it wasn't burning before that. So it wasn't burning. Okay, that's 1, 2 times. Now let's look down here. That works, yeah, you just, a loud crash, you looked out your window. Did you see the car when you originally looked out? No, I didn't, I couldn't. So Colonel Trott knew that the witness that called in the wreck that they said I seen and drove by intentionally knowing that it was wrecked, somebody needed help, had a witness statement right in front of him taken that day of a witness that called it in that looked out her bedroom window, said she was right close to Anderson Park. That's already 3 times said, I looked out my window and I didn't see it. But Colonel Tracy Trott wants to come down and say, well, I drove past where it happened the other day and I think that he could have seen it. And I don't care what an eyewitness on the scene. That's what they'll say. That's what they'll say. They'll lie. Go in court and say that. Testify. I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. And then commence to lie to get facilitated what they want to do. And the judge that's promoted by the governor will say, we stamped the way to lie on that. What she said ain't true. What the colonel said, what the God said is true. Colonel, you're a dirtbag. You're not God. I'm not afraid of you. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're a coward is what you are. I'm not a dirtbag like him. He put out in the news media where my kids live, where I live at, trying to dox me. I'm not going to dox him. I'm better than you. I'm not like you. I care about human life. You don't care about nobody but yourself and your little cronies, which I'm pointing out. So you didn't think somebody'd fight you, did you? Well, I'll fight the hell out of you, you dirtbag. I got rocks like David in the Bible. I'll throw them at you. I'm throwing my rocks at you, trying to bring you down, let people know what kind of a dirtbag you are, you piece of, you know what, I'll show you. That's 3 times. That works, yeah, just a loud crash. You looked out your window. Did you see the car when you originally looked out? No, I didn't, I couldn't. I didn't see the car, that's 4, until I told Royal Metro, the people that said, oh, it's on fire. So, 4 times. She didn't see it originally. And then later, after I'd already passed it, she's seen it. I didn't, I couldn't, and then it caught on fire, and then she didn't see it till it caught on fire. That's 4 times, Trott. You knew that. You knew that. You came down and lied. And doxed me and my children. You doxed my children. Put out where my children was. News media followed my children around, went to a school. How dare you? You're a real winner, ain't you? Yeah. Well, I'm still out here putting out the truth worldwide. Vote these people out. He'd like to kill me. He tried to. But you ain't going to get it done, Trotts. So, okay, here's 5. That's 4. Okay, so it caught on fire after that. Were you continually looking out the window to see if you could see it, and then all of a sudden, you saw it? Yes. So that's 6 times she was looking out her window continually. Didn't see it. 6 times. She didn't see it when she originally looked out. Wasn't visible. It was in the dark, just like when I passed it. 6 times. Trott had this in front of him. He had this when he came down to the scene because of the magnitude of the incident. Because a drunk driver wrecked and killed himself in a pursuit. That happens all the time. That's not a magnitude incident. He's a liar, a perjurer. He ought to be in jail. So, here's 6 times. Yes. All of a sudden, I saw it burst into flames. All of a sudden. That's 6 times. She says she didn't originally see it, just like me. Until later, caught on fire. And her bedroom window was right there next to Andersonville Pike. She was right on the scene. So I'm out trying to get a drunk driver. There's a fan. I'm out trying to get a drunk driver. And here's some bank ambulance personnel. These are people that are angels when you need them. These ambulance personnel. These people are angels. When you need ambulance personnel, these people are angels. So we thank police think you're ambulance personnel. So I was out trying to arrest a drunk driver. Colonel Trott said he came to the scene because of the magnitude of the incident. Look at deaths up on Tennessee roadways. That's why it's important to you. I was out lowering the fatality rate. Look at this. 35% compared to 2022. And it's went up 10% more than that. Knox County. New statistics from the Knox County Regional Forensic Center show a dangerous trend of upward related deaths. In 2022, the report said 100 people died Knox County roads in 2023. That number rose by 35% to 135 people, making it the largest increase. So more people are killed on Tennessee roadways as a result of them taking me off the road, increasing the probability of more people killed because I lowered the probability. What a crock. How serious that is, how dangerous. Now this is part of the rogue investigation that caused hundreds of Tennesseans to get killed. Deposition of Tracy Trott. As you know, there was a pursuit crash involving a young man that was killed instantly against a tree. A young man, he was 20 years old, he was drinking. Why didn't they investigate the party that he was in? That's what Major Stacy Headley says they do, that they don't do. It was determined the investigation of Trooper Morgan saw the crash and chose to ignore it, passing the scene, leading the victim in the car that was smoking, ultimately caught on fire without knowing where he was dead or alive. I didn't know that. That's a lie. Trooper Morgan deliberately drove past the wreck after chase. Matt Larkin reported that. Trooper Morgan didn't see the crash scene and chose to ignore it. Colonel Tracy Trott wrote, that's a dirty lie. I saw the car, but I didn't recognize it as a crash. So Colonel Tracy Trott's doxing me. How dare you? I'm not doxing you. I'm telling the truth about it. Look at this. They're lighting the car up. Went too far. They added evidence that's not there. No taillights on. It's in the video first. You can obviously taillights on the car's fleeing. When I pass it, you can obviously see no taillights on. Colonel Tracy Trott is responsible for false, misleading information, even after I told him I did not see the wreck through the investigation OPR, using his position of power to wrongly affect me and my children. I told them what was going on in my mind at the time. Out of the corner of my eye, caught a glimpse. It looked like a parked car. The trail is Sergeant Lowell Russell came on the scene, not my immediate supervisor. Stacy Heatherly, not my immediate supervisor. Tracy Trott, all work together in Nashville and OPR. So you see how you can link this together. Yeah, that ought to be illegal. Loud pipes, trying to do that on purpose. So they're saying I deliberately drove past the crash, rigging an investigation that endangered you. And this is their internal affairs unit right here. The internal affairs unit originally investigated the crash and cleared me. They cleared me of it. But the hit man, Colonel Tracy Trott, wasn't the hit man. He didn't have the guts. You ever heard the song by AC/DC, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap? If you got a lady and you want her gone, but you ain't got the guts. If you got a trooper and you want him gone, but you ain't got the guts. It talks about all the ways of killing somebody. It's a song about murder for hire. It says TNT, cyanide, concrete shoes. Meaning you put concrete shoes, talks about all the ways of killing somebody. And you don't do it yourself, you pay somebody else to. And I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying this is what these people by proxy in government service do. My education is in criminology from the University of Tennessee. My professor studied murder for hire, which is a phenomenon, and he studied it to try to understand it to help law enforcement reduce the issue. And did research on it. And it's a phenomenon. Back in 2000, you could have somebody killed for $2,000. And don't do it, it's wrong. But that's what Colonel Tracy Trott did. You don't have the guts to pull the trigger. You can pay $1,500. It's probably about $3,500 now. But you pay somebody else. If you want a lady and you got her gone, if you got a trooper and you want her gone, and you ain't got the guts, then call me anytime. The song by AC/DC. It's a powerful song. It's just a little ditty about what goes on in society. A lot of songs out there like that. And tell you about a phenomenon and sing a song about it. And that's just an AC/DC song about it. And my professor used to talk about that song because that's the phenomenon that he studied. So he studied murder for hire. And now Tracy Trott did the same thing. If you got a trooper and you want him gone, but you ain't got the guts. Because he never showed up in the administrative hearing to testify in front of me because he's a dirty coward. So he OPR investigated this, Office of Professional Responsibility, Sergeant Johnson, and Sergeant Cockrell, and the captain originally, Donna Ho's what I call him, originally investigated. They called me out there, gave me my guarantee warning, and I signed it. I was agreed to talk for 2 hours about asking me questions. They weren't very nice, very abusive. But I was keeping my job. They ain't got my job over my head. I ain't got to be nice to them creeps. They're dirty creeps. But they did ultimately the right thing. They had pressure on them to get rid of me, you could tell. They ultimately did the right thing. Even Sergeant Johnson did the right thing. Now he's a captain now, but he didn't do the right thing later. Talking about murder for hire, talking about getting rid of a trooper when you ain't got the guts through your OPR. Because OPR, that day, put me back to work. They cleared me of that incident because I was there off duty. Immediately that day, I got my guns back, got my ID back, and went back to work and made over 100 drunk driving arrests that year. Made about 20 DUI arrests that month, lowering the fatality rate. OPR did the right thing, put me back to work. And then, they reported their findings to the Colonel, Tracy Trott, who ain't got the guts, but wanted a trooper gone. So he lets OPR know, no. You did your investigation, but that's not the way I wanted it to turn out. Colonel Tracy Trott to the bathroom. That's not the way I wanted it to turn out. Didn't work out the truthful way. So I want you to change it, and I want him gone. So he re-instructed their OPR. They already made a decision. Because he said OPR investigated, the news said Office of Professional Responsibility investigated it, and they determined that Trooper Morgan saw the... No, that's not what they determined. If they determined that, why they put me back to work? That's not what they determined. Tracy Trott, murder for hire, said I got a trooper and I want him gone, but I ain't got the guts. So he evidently, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, he tells OPR, no, wrong decision. The truth doesn't matter. This is what I want. I'm a dirty man. I don't care that he's out lowering the fatality rate. I get what I want. I'm the colonel of the Highway Patrol, just like Matt Perry, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, that promoted a DEI hire that has lowered your fatality rate for years. Lies about being fit for duty, responding to calls. They're all crooked as hell. They're a danger to you in society. What a crook she is. Wrinkledy, drunk. These are people in power that have infiltrated our government. Let's vote these dirtbags out of office. Follow me. You won't hear this anywhere else. With the evidence and proof, I'm showing you the proof. So I mailed OPR a letter, signing it, telling them when she was a captain about Major Stacy Headley. There's my signature. The ink ain't real. Mailing it, telling them, hey, that she was on duty when she was on workers' comp. Here's Colonel Tracy Trott. A little parody about him. I probably shouldn't read that. Fat liar, perjurer. He has a trooper and he wants him gone, but he ain't got the guts. So he sends his internal affairs unit that's already cleared me to reinitiate a case because his buddy, Major Stacy Headley, wants the trooper gone. Here's the truth about him. He's a piece of, yeah, that's Major Tracy Trotz. Hey, Tracy Trotz, I'm still out here. You tried to kill me, but you didn't get it done. I'm still here telling the truth about you. You lied about me. I was out in harm's way, and troopers, they'll lie about you. Major Stacy Heather will lie about you, ruin your life where you didn't got medical insurance, try to kill you by proxy. There the dirtbag is, Tracy Trotz, Tracy Trotter, trots to the bathroom. And I'm not. I mean, I forgive him. I do. I really do. I don't have personal animosity towards him. I know that's trying to strange for me to say. I do not have personal animosity towards Tracy Trotz. I don't. No. I forgive him. I hope he becomes a Christian, accepts the Lord in his heart. What I do have concern about is he's still got power over the highway patrol that causes death on the roads to this day. I care about your family and your kids. He's part of the destruction. I'm fighting his power in state government for you. I could care less personally. He's a piece of dirt. He'll answer for it in the next life. I care about his hand in state government that causes people to get killed today. That's why I'm pointing this out. And let me ask you this. We'll keep going today, as long as people are listening. Might do our 3-hour tour today. Let's ask them, how bad does it have to get to keep voting the same and same? You would, let me read this. Let's see how many people I got in here. 74. Let's ask them, how bad does it have to get keep voting the same, and soon you won't be able to eat, but they will eat just fine, and they will eat just fine on your tax dollars. And that's what these people are doing. So we lost a few viewers. I guess they don't like my voice raised. I don't care, I'll raise it. Faith takes you through a problem, not always specifically around it. Sometimes it'll take you around it. This is showing you some pictures and proof. This is when I was running for Tennessee governor. I posted my picture in the news. This was in a newspaper article. Blame the state, not the soldiers, promising health care. Friends calling friends, beat spot elections. And also the second objective of the election was to get this social movement going, build up my social movement visibility, and try to get more protection from you. So let's show you what Major Stacy Heatherly said, and show you a little truth about him. And if you can, like, share, comment. So we're losing people. Come back on board. Like, share, comment. We almost gone 2 hours. And contribute to the channel. So and we'll get the election going statewide. This is the deposition of the liar, Colonel Tracy Trotz. And he said, here's what he said in his report. That is a dirty lie. He said that, here's what Tracy Trotz, the reason why he come down and lied about me, even though he had a eyewitness on the scene that said they didn't see the wreck. So here's why he came down personally and lied. He said, here's the lie he told. He said, I feel like magnitude of this required me to travel to the scene personally to view it and drive the road. I did it with Captain Donahoe, Lieutenant Danny Thomas, December 5th, 2012. I drove the same vehicle 3 times after dark, 50, 60 miles as I topped the rise in the roadway. I walked the crash scene, noted the position, final rest. It's only 14 5 steps away from the roadway with the experience along with the circumstances. It was my determination that Trooper Morgan didn't see the crash and chose to ignore it. Even though an eyewitness on the scene said they didn't. It's his determination. It wasn't his determination. He's lying on me, trying to get rid of me because of the magnitude of the incident. Because of the magnitude of the incident. A drunk driver, magnitude of the incident. A drunk driver killed himself in a high-speed pursuit after he left the trooper's side after dark. That's not a magnitude incident. That's not a high magnitude incident. That happens all the time. He did that because he's a hitman. Because he's trying to get rid of me. When Trooper John Pettigo was in pursuit of a man on 411 that they lie about, and the driver that was running from him fled, and also an innocent person was killed as a result of John Pettigo's failure to turn on his blue lights and siren. That's a magnitude incident. A second person was killed in that pursuit involving John Pettigo. An incident involving the highway patrol. He clocked the car, turned around on him without emergency equipment. My pursuit happened in November. That happened the next August. Did the colonel over the highway patrol come and investigate? One person was killed in the wreck that killed herself in a driving this drunk. And did Colonel Tracy Trotz? That's a magnitude incident. 2 people were killed in an incident that happened less than a year later. 2 people involving a trooper, John Pettigo. He said, you read his statement because of the magnitude incident. Did he come down to that incident and investigate John Pettigo's actions? No, that wasn't a trooper that carried a Bible in his pocket that lowered the fatality rate. That was good for the public. Colonel Tracy Trott's a dirty liar. He lied under oath. He signed papers that said because of magnitude of the incident. But he didn't investigate any other wrecks because he wanted Van Morgan gone. Well, Trooper Tracy Trott, I want the information about you to the world. You're a dirtbag thug. You know, he didn't even come and testify in person to my face in a hearing. Wow, what a chicken. What a cowardly man he is. Here he is, Colonel Tracy Trotz, to the bathroom. So he didn't come down there because of the magnitude of the incident. It had nothing to do with it. It didn't have nothing to do with the magnitude of the incident. He's a dirty liar. And here's an evidence chart. And I'm getting to the main point of this. Hang in here with me. Like, share, comment, spread the message. We haven't had too many people watching today. Got over 65 on here right now. And so they're fake internal affairs investigations. And let's see here. Everything's man-made. There's nobody holds any responsibility. Good whiners play. Yeah, okay. Or whatever. Good watchers have, I don't know what I got a good battery. I don't know what they're saying here, but we didn't have jarheads testing it. I don't know. Thank y'all for your comments. Relax, brother. We need you, bro. Okay. Thank you. I'm in good health. He's just pissed because he got caught. I didn't get caught. I'm catching them. You deliberately drove past a crash when someone died, even if it was a mistake, your judgment obviously can't be relied on. That's not true. Deliberately drove past a wreck that nobody could have seen. Deliberately drove past a wreck that nobody could have seen, so you're asking me that's not good judgment? No, it's not. That doesn't have anything to do with judgment. Did Georgia football referees deliberately not call a touchdown? There's things, perception, reaction, that you can't see things. I deliberately drove past the wreck because I didn't know and no one could have seen it. I mean, there's mass murders out here. Do police officers deliberately not arrest them? No, there's things that aren't humanly possible. That's ridiculous. You're holding me to an impossible standard. That's a dirty lie that you're saying that I could have seen it. Nobody would have seen it. There's an expert witness that said it was impossible. So that's not negligence. Negligence is something that you could have done that you didn't do. There's nobody would have been able to do. That's not negligence. So you don't even know what negligence is. Negligence is being held to a standard You're holding me to an impossible standard. You're not negligent if you're doing within your capabilities and human reaction. You could fall out of an airplane and say, well, you're negligent in that you didn't pull the parachute thing. What if you didn't have one and somebody pushed you out of it? I mean, negligence is something that you're capable of doing, but you don't do. No one would have been capable of seeing that wreck. Here's a little evidence chart from and so we're here on the Trooper Charles Van Morgan. Did you recommend discipline in this case? I did. And what was that discipline? Termination. It was a termination of the investigation that Trooper Morgan saw the crash and chose to ignore it. Passing the scene, leaving the victim in the car that was smoking, openly caught on fire without knowledge whether he was dead or alive. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's not true. That's Colonel Tracy Trott. Didn't even testify that in the hearing. Testified that from his office about a trooper on the road. And that's what Colonel Matt Perry will do. Look at this. And here's the truth. Interrogation. Cockrell, well, we did say we're not saying you panicked. We're not saying that you was afraid of liability. I may have been a simple thing as you thought you're concentrating on getting DUIs. You didn't want to get tied up with a pursuit and fatality and all. You want to get back to working DUIs. We don't know the reason, Johnson. No, we're just guessing here. So they don't know why I would drive past the wreck. They're guessing. So they take somebody's job that leads them to highway patrol because they're guessing. They didn't even take it. They put me back to work. So they're saying that the colonel is guessing. We're just guessing. The reason, and as simple as it sounds, I've went over it 100 times, went through my mind. Parked car, it's in the grass, it's dark, I can't see all that stuff, and you know it's a high tense situation. The reason I passed it because I didn't see it as a wreck. Now I've told you, I see it in a car. I'm telling you the truth. Seen a car, I didn't see it as a wreck. I saw it as a car that I questioned, is that the wreck? I dismissed it. No, I didn't see smoke. I didn't see it up against a tree. I thought it was a parked car. I did question it. Now maybe, and that maybe that was it. I hadn't seen the car down the road, but I'm still looking down the road for the car. I'm not going. Look, I'm not thinking about that. So I didn't see the car. That's the truth. And here's what here's Colonel Trott's lie. Colonel Trott's investigation unit after interview determined Mr. Morgan did commit the acts. Did not commit the acts to try to accuse them, or at least determine they did not provide the evidence to show this. Returned him back to work the same day. Mr. Morgan was returned all equipment taken away prior to his incident. His state patrol car, law enforcement IDs. Mr. Morgan was back full commission duties from December 14th until January 13th, and put on the driver's license station in January when Sergeant Stacy Heavily, now Major, took over the shift. So she lied. She lied. Trott lied in order to get me fired, saying the Internal Affairs didn't recommend that. Internal Affairs didn't recommend that I be terminated. They recommend I be put back to work. The colonel lied about that incident, and like a hitman had me terminated, raising the fatality rate, raising the probability of people getting killed. I was fighting drunk drivers at the time, and now we are in a social movement trying to get these people voted out of office. And a social movement, I'll show you the definition. We may go into this a little bit more tomorrow. Got one more day, so we got almost 100 people in here. Thank you all so very much. A social movement is what we're doing. Collective or joint action is a social movement. Knoxville, Tennessee, U.S., worldwide. Get the message out. These people are corrupt. The message is power to you, the people. Speak up, show up. Listen to our YouTube channel broadcast. Together we can make a difference for the world. We can fight these dirtbags. They raise the fatality rate. They're crooks in government power. They're infiltrated our government. Collective or joint action is a social movement. We'll go through this stuff quickly and get off here. We have change-oriented goals. Specific outcomes. The movement wants to achieve to make the system better. Make government fair, honest, and accountable, unlike now where constitutional rights are being violated. And changing your goals, remove corrupt people in government power, arrange the system in your favor, monthly meetings to explain. And that's what we're about. And that's what we intend to do, whether they like it or not. We've ran for public office a few times to get the message statewide, and we've done that. We have to have some degree of organization, which we have. We are present of a structure. We are leadership, shared objectives among participants, rid rogue people in government power, act as collective outside of established institutional channels to pursue social change by getting the word out against crooked people in power and raise awareness. I'm raising awareness about how these crooks killed a lot of people on Tennessee roadways. And some degree of temporal continuity. That is our shared identity, unity for accountability and fairness. Our shared goals: expose corruption, empower citizens, and restore integrity. Our community active since 2019, building momentum and impact every year. So we've been active since 2019. Temporal continuity is, even if it slows down for a certain period of time, we still have the movement going, and we're still in the background planning, strategizing for a outburst of voting, get people voted, and may run for public office again. But even if we're in the background, we're still here, and we're still getting the movement going. Power to you, the people. Another is some extra institutional collective action. Some of our activities: advocating voting, calling friends, attending meetings, running for public offices, and using social media. Recently, 375,000 people on YouTube have been reached. So we're getting the word out. Power to you, the people. Register, persuade, vote. Even non-voters and eligible allies show up, speak up, make the difference. We are lawful. We fight corruption by using the law, the vote, and public pressure to pressure these dirtbags in public office. Everyone has power. There's more of us than there are them. We're going to go over this right here. The impact comparison. Baseline, no flips needed. Here's how many people we need to turn the Tennessee government. 1,127,528 votes. That's 27% of the outreach pool that we need to contact. With modest flips, 5%, plus 5% others needed. 954,185 votes, 22.9% of the outreach. We can win the governor's race with 954,185 votes. That means if we get 22.9% of the people available to vote, only 22% of them, we can lose 77% of the vote. We can lose 77% and still win the election by getting people to vote. So even if we get people that didn't vote, that didn't register to vote, to register and vote, if we get people that have registered but they didn't vote, those pool of people are enough to overturn the election. That'll get more than 1 million votes like Governor Bill Lee got. If we get people that voted for Governor Bill Lee, a small percentage, 5% of the people that voted for Governor Bill Lee, if we flip them in our favor, all we need is 22.9% of the voter outreach by getting a small percentage. So here's the deal. Here's the voting statistics. Flashcard, voter target 2022 baseline. And this is for 2026. in the governor's race. I may run, I don't know, or I might endorse one of the other candidates if they will power to the people, endorse power to the people and do stuff according to the Constitution. And here's what we need. Registered non-voters, 2,812,572. That's the people in 2022 that were registered to vote but didn't vote, 2,812,000. So if a small percentage of those had voted or will vote in 2026, we can overturn the election. We can overturn the election. So, eligible and unregistered, 1,360,000 voters are unregistered. So if all those had voted, or a percentage of them had voted, then we could overturn the election. These are people that didn't. These are people, letting the noisy cars by. These are people that didn't participate in the election. You have the power to overturn people that participated. The people that were eligible to register but didn't vote is 2 million people. Get a small percentage of those, we beat the million people that'll win the race. People that are eligible but unregistered was 1,360,000 people. Now, let me correct that. Registered non-voters, people that are registered to vote, they've already registered, already went through the registration process, but didn't vote. It's 2 million people, 2 million, almost 3 million people. All you have to do is go vote, and if you didn't, and if you go vote this time, you got enough power to overturn the people that decided the next election. You have more power than they do. If we get people that are unregistered, you didn't even register, but you can, you got more power than they do. There's 1,360,000 people that are eligible to vote but didn't, and there's more of you than there was that decided who's the governor right now. Our current vote is 1,862. 1,862. So we can subtract that. We already got that, and we'll get some more. So our total outreach pool, the people that are available for us right now that didn't participate or didn't vote, that we can talk to and get them to vote for governor, for me or somebody else. The people available, and we don't even need all of them. We need a percentage of this. People available is 4,174,434. That's the people available that we can talk to and convince them to vote, power to you, the people, to get rid of these rogue people in power that are in power right now in the colonel's office. That's how many people we need. The governor promotes Major Stacey Heatherly, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Matt Perry, these people that are allowing the fatality rate to skyrocket. There's 4 million of us, over 4 million, that can vote these people out of office that didn't even participate. So that's the people we need to contact. It's people that didn't vote, that were registered, and people that are eligible to register that didn't get registered. 4 million people, that's a huge pool of people that we need to convince, hey, if you didn't register, register and vote for Charles Van Morgan or who he endorses. If you're registered but didn't vote, that's good. You got enough people to overturn the election. Go vote for who Charles Van Morgan asked you to, or who I ask you to if you're part of the movement, and go take advantage of your registration and go vote. We can overturn the election. Vote for Charles Van Morgan or whoever we suggest. There's enough of y'all, even if they get the same votes that they got, to overturn the election. So the voters needed in Tennessee to overturn the governor's race, and yeah, I'm talking about overturning the governor's race, trying to put a dent in their little hellhole, is we got 4 million people to contact. We got a little over 1 million. Got way more people than they do. And then also, that's not the whole story. If we can flip some voters that voted for the alleged Christian transvestite Governor Bill Lee, that promotes a major to captain that's stealing valor that has raised your fatality rate by taking the leading trooper off the road that is working while she's unfit for duty. I showed you the evidence. The governor did that. If we can flip the people by telling the truth about the governor, Bill Lee, that got elected by using Haslam's money. Noisemakers. I'm out here in public, they know I'm here, so that's all that matters. If we can get people in government power to realize the people in government power, and I'm showing you evidence how dirty they are, to convince them that you shouldn't have voted for them. Look at what they're doing. They're raising the fatality rate. It's more likely on Tennessee roadways that you get killed because of dirty Governor Bill Lee, and flip their vote. That's a vote taken away from them, lest we even have to overcome the million. Percentage of that pool to convert, 27%. So, the bottom line, register persuade about 27% of this pool to surpass Bill Lee's 2022. The source is 22 registration vote counts. So, if we get a percentage of the people registered to vote that didn't vote, if we get a percentage of the people that are eligible to vote but didn't vote, not all of them, just a small part of them, if we flip a few votes that Governor Bill Lee got, take them away from him, convince them how dirty the government is, that they're dangerous to them, that they shouldn't have voted for them, get them on our side, then all we need to convince is 23% people. We don't even need 77% of people, because they're either not going to vote or they're going to vote for Governor Lee. So all we need is 23%. Or they're going to vote for who's ever running, Marsha Blackburn, you, or the guy that has got a wife that's about 20-something years younger than him, that met her when she was 17. I'm just saying. So the target baseline is we only need a small percentage of voters to overturn the election. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to overturn the election by voting, power to you, the people movement. And I wanted to show you this. Now we showed you from the log 11/10/8 in a shooting incident while she wasn't fit for duty. And I want to show you the date that she went on comp time. Recapping this, while you're on comp time, you may not wear a uniform. While you're on not comp time, while you're on workman's comp, may not wear a uniform, may not carry a weapon, may not drive a state vehicle, must commute in your own personal vehicle, and not allowed to ride with any commissioned officer during approved light duty assignment, may not perform road testing DL stations, will not have supervisor duties. Now that's from their handbook on what you can't do when you're on workers' comp. And I just showed you where Major Stacy Heatherly was on workers' comp. And we'll close with this because she was injured in a head-on car crash that she set up the circumstances and conditions to where she'd be killed in that wreck. So let me show you here. Let me show you here the date that she went on workers' comp, and the date that she got put back to work, got cleared. And we might read this tomorrow. A little ditty about Tracy Trotz. I'm concerned they might take me off YouTube. It's just a parody about Trotter. But let's see here. I want to show you this. Tracy Trott, I showed you, said because of the severity of the incident, Sharon Honeycutt death announced a traffic wreck by Inept Trooper John Pettigo caused someone to escape justice, and he didn't come to the wreck scene when she was wrongly said was a car wreck or when he went in pursuit of a lady without reporting it. So let's see. Here's the, well, let me find this and we'll get off here. Like, share, comment, and listen to us tomorrow morning. If I can't find those dates, I'll show it to you tomorrow. So many people got in here. We're getting ready to get the heck off here. Thank y'all for watching. Almost 3 hours. Almost a 3-hour tour. So we'll see y'all tomorrow morning. We'll broadcast live tomorrow morning. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Let's see if I can find this. And we'll show you the date she went on workers' comp and the date she was cleared from workers' comp, and her answering calls in uniform while she's not supposed to do any of that. And I showed you a signed paper where I told the Internal Affairs Unit that. And here's her in uniform on February the 7th in a state patrol car. She wasn't cleared until February the 26th. She's not supposed to be in uniform, not supposed to be supervising there. She posted that on the World Wide Web. She doesn't even care that they can do whatever they want to do. This is an incident where she responded to a shooting scene, not fit for duty. And we'll talk about, January 12th, she was still on workers' comp. Out at the scene, not supposed to be in uniform. Even in light duty, she's not supposed to do all this stuff. But she's doing blatantly in your face because they do whatever the hell they want to do. It doesn't matter to them. Because they're rogue people. And that's why we need to vote the governor out of office. Because she's responsible for this major fatalities on Tennessee roadways. So let's get this. I know I got it in here, I think. Pretty sure. If I don't, I'll show it to you tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning. I'll show you the date she left work, the date she came back, and I already showed you her working while she was not fit for duty, posting a thing on social media. So I can't find it right now. We'll have to find it, and I'll show it to you tomorrow. It shows the actual date that she got hurt, the wreck. The actual date was cleared by a doctor, and then the date she was responding to calls on the job, not fit for duty. Even posting on social media live for the world to see her violation of the Department of Safety rules, and they violate the hell out of the rules. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Hope you enjoyed the show. God bless you all. I appreciate it. So we'll be back here tomorrow morning. God willing, the creek don't rise. Let's get this paper that blew off over here under right here it is, so we don't leave any trash. Hello. So we don't leave any trash. Oh, this is important. This is my subscribe. So subscribe to the channel. We're almost 3 hours. Subscribe and help us go all over the state with our message. Tomorrow we will show you the date she started. He was hit, date she started on workman's comp, taken to the hospital. The date she was cleared by a doctor, and the intervening time when she wasn't fit for duty, she was out answering calls for service, supervising in a uniform, doing directly opposite of what the rules of the Department of Safety say that she's allowed to do, and the governor let her do that. Let's vote him out, and we'll talk about social movements. We'll teach a little social movement class and what we need, and ask you all to do for your own safety, health protection, and well-being. So thank you all so much. God bless you all. I pray for joining me, Charles Van Morgan, in the morning. Look at this. I can't cut off without letting you see this traffic mess. Over the hill traffic, because the city government and the mayor was over here on the bridge with Mayor Bill Haslam when he was he was a former governor, on this bridge that is now closed. And we'll walk over here to see all that traffic. All that traffic is there because they have closed a bridge here in Knoxville, the infrastructure. They're not keeping up with the infrastructure. And I can't leave today without showing you what city government here in Knoxville's done. And I ran for public office. The news media has blackballed me, and the state government's blackballing me. Hopefully you people won't blackball me. If you're behind me, like, share, comment, and spread the social movement. That's why they're blackballing me. They know that I'm spreading the truth for you all, for power to the people, not the corrupt, crooked politicians. And if we get enough support, these dirtbags, these politicians in public office will start going along with what we're saying. If we get enough public support, they will go along. Here I am in the window. So, but if we get enough public support, the politicians will start agreeing with us. It's just a matter of getting public support, because they'll do whatever the public tells them to do. Right now, they're doing what Governor Bill Lee tells them to, because they believe he's got public support. But I just told you the odds. He ain't got public support. He's got state-sponsored news that convinced you that he's a good Christian, that he's out to lower the fatality rate and to help you, when in fact he's promoting liars and thieves and people that violate the general orders of the Department of Safety that are designed to keep you safe, designed to keep troopers on the road that are fit for duty. And he got promoted. There we go. There's some supporters. So yeah. So but he's rogue. He's about keeping the legitimacy of the illegitimate people in government power. Governor Lee is a protester. He's protesting your government. It's your government. He's infiltrated your government wrongfully, and he's a protester. We need to get rid of the protesters and vote them out of office. Whoever he endorses or supports, we need to get them out of office. And he promotes people in the highway patrol that don't protect you. They're not capable of protecting you. They're not fit for duty, and they're out working. And he, when we reported that to Internal Affairs, but she was a captain then, and now they have promoted her. When we reported she stole valor, so they don't care about your public safety, health protection, well-being. They care about being promoted, and they care about their money, and they care about maintaining their illegitimate legitimacy. And we need to vote them out. So we're going over to the bridge here. You've seen the traffic backed up. This is a government, how it's not working for you. And they don't care. People that close down this bridge don't even live in Knoxville. They live out in affluent areas in West Knoxville. They don't care. They don't have to cross that bridge. This is one of the poorer parts of Knoxville. Well, they'll leave you stranded, close down roads and not open them up. And we'll show you the bridge that's still closed down that causes that massive traffic backup. And we'll get off here talking about that. Join us tomorrow morning, Charles Van Morgan in the morning, and we'll talk about the social movement that we're involved in to get power to you, the people, and not the corrupt politicians, and vote these people out of office. We have just a small amount of people that we need of the voting population to overflip this election in our favor and put pressure on the government to serve and follow you and promote people in these high administrative positions like me and some of the other officers that they've gotten rid of that were lowering the fatality rate in the state of Tennessee. So here's a bridge. Here's the state government right now. And I took a picture and we're going to post it before I started the video in front of a dead-end sign. And we'll end up close here in just a second with that. The state government is a dead end for you. It's not going to end well for you if we keep voting these crooks in power, these protesters. If we keep voting them in your public power, then it's a dead end for you. It's a dead end government. So here's the road closed, and this is why traffic is backed up on that road, is because they're closing roads. See this road closed right here? This road's been open for 100 years. It opened in 1898, and now all of a sudden, this administration doesn't have the money they claim. They should have been saving money all along. Maintenance and repair is a normal thing. They had money to keep this bridge open during the Depression. And they had money to keep this bridge open. They don't want it open. They closed it. And that's why you have that huge backup on Chapman Highway. Because the mayor and the Governor Haslam has a picture of him and the mayor on this bridge when it was open. Isn't that interesting? Now it's closed. They're going to have to take a picture now in front of the road closed, because the road's closed with the government people in office now. The road's closed for you. It's open for them because they're going to be able to drive across this bridge. Government vehicles are going to be able to drive across this bridge, but they're going to make you walk if you're lucky. Even the sidewalk's closed. But they're going to, this is the Gay Street Bridge. They're going to be able to drive. The billionaire has-been's going to be able to drive across this bridge. But you're going to, if you're not good, if you behave, you'll be able to walk across it. And on a hot summer day, they'll be driving in a car. The mayor and Haslam will be driving in a car across this bridge. Maybe even the governor, Bill Lee, or whoever they promote to be the governor next will be driving across this bridge, because it's going to open for government vehicles. They'll be driving in a government vehicle. State troopers will be guarding them. Don't hurt these road people that make decisions against you for them. They'll be guarding them. What time the state troopers that are guarding them aren't drunk on the job? There's been state troopers in dignitary protection that are so high they can't even do their job. And they'll be driving across this bridge, and we can wave at them. Hey, how you doing, new governor? Unless it's me or who I promote. Hey, governor, I hope you're comfortable in that air-conditioned car driving across this bridge, because they're going to open it up for them. Hey, how you doing while you're sweating? Maybe you're in a wheelchair and you're in a walker trying to walk across it. You'd be better off in a car, but you can't drive a car because they're going to be in the vehicle, and they're going to be air conditioned. And other troopers are going to be guarding them. And if you try to vote them out so you can open the bridge, they'll run you down the news media and post your mugshot that they falsely arrested you, because it's state-run media, so they can state-run the bridge. And should be a public bridge. You should have a right to have this bridge open. And they're closing more roads. This ain't the only road that's going to close. They're going to close roads all over America. They're going to close roads all over the state of Tennessee. They're going to close more roads all over Knoxville all the time, because the climate crisis, which there is, but let's close it for them too. And electric vehicles don't endanger the crisis. And there's not 100%. We can do everything we can do in America. What about worldwide? We can still have a climate crisis while we're walking. Other countries are polluting the environment. So this is a worldwide issue, and they think Knoxville's going to solve it by putting you out on foot and them in cars. So yeah, this is the bridge. Take a good look at this. This is the Knoxville government right here. We got almost over 100 people. Thank you all so very much, and for listening. Got over 100 people in here. God bless y'all. And this is the bridge that when you vote them in office, this bridge is going to stay closed for me and you, and going to be open for them while we walk across this bridge. That's just so crooked. That's just so crooked. If you join this social movement, Charles Van Morgan, Power to You the People movement, then we will have meetings with you, and we will open this bridge up, and you'll drive across this bridge, Gay Street Bridge. You'll drive across bridges all over the United States. You'll have a say in the government, and we'll investigate some of these rogue people, we'll lower the fatality rate, and put them in jail. Join the social movement. Charles Van Morgan, it's been active since 2019, and we'll talk about some of the tactics that we're going to use to facilitate a social movement. I have a Master of Arts in Sociology with an emphasis in criminology. I know a little bit about social movements. Here recently, we've got almost 500,000 people listening to us. So if we get 500,000 people, not all of them followers, close to 500,000 people, soon we'll have over 1 million. If we get 500,000 people putting pressure on the Tennessee government to follow the law and provide for public safety, let us govern ourselves, then they won't be able to overturn us. There's more of us. There's just not nobody speaking out about it. I'm speaking out about it. That's why you ought to follow me. I know my life's in danger. It's always been in danger all my life. I've always did dangerous work for the safety and protection of the public. And God will protect me. I'm not scared. Now they're scared of me. They're very scared of me. That's why they'd like to shut me down. If they do, I'll be on Telegram or Rumble, or remember the brand name, Charles Van Morgan. Let's get this social movement cranked up more and get people to vote and overpower their wicked, nasty corruption, open up bridges. People avoid Knoxville, avoid South Knoxville. Tourists and people that spend money in businesses in South Knoxville, avoid South Knoxville, because they used to be able to drive across the bridge here. Now they can't. They have to go over there, and look, you've seen the traffic all over the United States. People know you can't come to Knoxville. If you come through Knoxville to go to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, one of the most visited tourist places in the world in the United States of America, don't go through Knoxville, bypass Knoxville. Don't spend money in Knoxville. Go around Knoxville. You know, Randy Tyree was the mayor when the 1982 World's Fair got here. What a great mayor. I mean, he brought tourism here. People from all over the world came to the 1982 World's Fair. There's still relics of the World's Fair here. The Sun Spear was beautiful. It brought tourism here from all over the world. This mayor and this administration and Governor Bill Haslam, he didn't bring anything when he was a mayor here, have closed down a major thoroughfare. They're making roads smaller all over Knoxville, shutting down our damn economy. People all over the United States know. When the World's Fair was here, go to Knoxville, great World's Fair going on. Randy Tyree was the mayor of Knoxville. Brought tourism, a lot of money from all over the world to help businesses and families grow here and flourish. And then we have the mayor here now. Got a picture of her and Haslam on that Gay Street Bridge that now is closed down. Go take a picture there now in front of that road closed sign, in front of one of the numerous road closed signs all over the state. I'm pointing that out, how dirty they are. And people here in Knoxville know, and people all over the United States know, don't come through Knoxville, bypass it on the interstate. There's only 3 bridges to get across the Tennessee River now. One of them is a bypass Knoxville. 2 of them are bypass Knoxvilles. The James Watt Parkway bypasses Knoxville, pretty much, and the interstate I-40 bridge bypasses Knoxville. So there's only 2. There's only one way through the middle of Knoxville, and you've seen, I just showed you a picture, rewind the video if you want to see it, that people are not going to get stuck in traffic every morning, even on Sunday. It's backed up to over the hill. People ain't going to come through Knoxville and spend money Sunday afternoon, visit our restaurants in South Knoxville, because they can't get through Knoxville, and it's gonna ruin the economy. And they don't care that bridge is closed, and because they're going to be able to drive across it. And is that the way we want Knoxville to run? Is that the way we want the state of Tennessee to run? The governor that got funded by Bill Haslam, Christian Governor Lee, has got such an inept Department of Safety and law enforcement in the state of Tennessee. People working that aren't even fit to be on the job because they were in accidents, car accidents, that the roads are more safer because of their ineptness. So they're causing a problem that it's even hurting themselves. They have to call in the National Guard, the federal government, to police Memphis because law enforcement in Tennessee is not capable of protecting people. So we have to have the federal government protecting Tennesseans because of an inept government, inept people in government power that care nothing about your safety, health, protection, well-being. They care about themselves, that have state troopers guarding them, and they have to call in the federal government to protect Memphis. They're going to have to call in the federal government to protect Knoxville. And if this rate continues, let's vote somebody in the Knoxville government, in the governor's office in Knoxville, that knows a little bit about criminology, that knows a little bit about odds and probability, that can protect Knoxvillians and protect the state of Tennessee, not this inept government that President Donald Trump has to send the National Guard here to protect you because he's not capable, because he's got people like Major Stacey Heatherly out working the roads, out trying to chase down alleged people that are shooting at law enforcement, shooting at people, while she's not capable of doing it, not supposed to do it, even according to the rules, even posting videos online, not even covering it up, that she's not fit for duty, but she's out on duty. Is that what you want? And then they have to send in the National Guard. I'm just saying, it's a messed up government because these people are protesters, they're crooks in power, and we need to start a special investigation unit to arrest people in state government power, suit crime, which causes more damage than your average everyday thug. So we're going to get off here. I just wanted to show you the word's getting out. Don't come through Knoxville. They got bridges closed down. Back up, bypass it, go to Sevierville. Don't patronize South Knoxville stores. And the people that close it down, the people out in West Knoxville, they don't have to come over here. They take the bridge over there. They don't care if your bridge is closed down over here in this poor area. They care about their damn dirty selves. That's all they care about. And the way they make themselves appear honest is they say, well, I'm a Christian, makes them appear honest. So here's one of our God's houses in the city of Knoxville, a church building. We won't walk on their property to trespass, but here's God's house right here. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. So here's one of God's houses. And they've even infiltrated, these creeps, these thugs in power have even infiltrated our churches. I'm not saying they've infiltrated this one, but let me tell you how, and then we'll get off here. We might do a 3-hour tour today, trying to stay on as like Gilligan's Island. They went on a 3-hour tour and then a catastrophe happened. We're going on a 3-hour tour and we're going to present a catastrophe for state government. Let's see how long we've been on here and we'll tell you about how they've infiltrated churches. So as long as we got a bunch of people in here, we'll stay for the duration, maybe over 3 hours. So we'll tell you about how the rogue government, the rogue people in power in the government have infiltrated our churches wrongfully, how they're using churches wrongly to control the government and lying to you. And they are. That's not God's fault. God's not behind a lot of this stuff. And I'll look around, I love doing this. God's not going to strike me down for speaking against wicked people that have infiltrated our churches, which is exactly what they've done. God's not gonna strike me down for that. They think God will strike you down because we're in churches. No, you need to be in churches having your knees and praying that God forgives you and lead, guide, and directs you, and doesn't take troopers off the road that carry a New Testament in their pocket and his heart is out saving the lives of people on Tennessee roadways. That's Christian, not your dirty foolishness that's using churches to try to legitimize your crooked self. Let me look around. I'll show you this. Look around. Is God going to strike me down? Do y'all see God striking me down? I don't see. No, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. God's not going to strike me down for speaking truth to power. He's not going to. He didn't strike David down for killing the giant. He's not going to strike me down. I'm speaking truth to power. So let's see how many people got on here, and I'll tell you how they use churches to facilitate lies. And in saying that, then we'll get off here. Thank you all so very much. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you want to contribute, it'll help us go all over the state. We'll uncover stories that nobody else will tell because they're too afraid to, and maybe it's just not their calling. So yeah. How you doing? East Tennessee Children's Hospital. We'll give this man. I'm filming Facebook Live, so but be careful. But yeah, we'll help you. Hopefully you don't have a little child sick there. If you do, God bless you, I pray, and help your child. East Tennessee Children's Hospital, the way you get there is right over here to yeah, not this bridge, but keep going to the other bridge. When you get to the other bridge, turn right on Henley Street. So not this bridge is closed down.
Yeah.
Go to the other bridge, turn right, and then go across Henley Street Bridge. And then right after you get across the bridge, it's not the first right, it's one way, not the first or second, but take Cumberland Avenue, it's left. Make a left on Cumberland Avenue. And you'll see the intersection. It's 1, 2, it's the third left, but it'll say Cumberland Avenue. So go across this bridge, make a right, go across straight, make a right, and then after you get across the bridge, the third left, take a left at Cumberland Avenue. And go down Cumberland Avenue, it's a 2-lane, it'll be a 2-lane road down through there. And when you get to Cumberland Avenue, you'll see a sign that says Children's Hospital. It's right out there on Cumberland Avenue. So after you get past 17th Street, start looking for a sign, and it'll say Children's Hospital, and it's a right. So just turn on Children's Hospital. So basically,
It's Clinch River Avenue.
Clinch, it's off Clinch, but you won't see Clinch from Cumberland Avenue. You have to turn right off but it's right at the corner of Clinch, and I think it's 12th Street. You go right here, cross the bridge, get to the bridge, make a right after you cross the bridge. So it's one right after you cross the bridge, get to the bridge, make a right. After you get to the bridge, across the bridge, make a left to Cumberland Avenue. When you get on Cumberland Avenue, start looking, after you pass 17th Street, start looking for signs that say Children's Hospital. It'll be on your right, and then take a right. So it's one right, a left, and right. And then it'll take you right there. So all right, you're welcome. So yeah, we'll help people find Children's Hospital. And so the way churches influence the way they've infiltrated the churches. Let's see how many people got on here, and then we'll talk about how people have infiltrated the churches. I'm on our 3-hour tour. We'll try to keep this going for 3 hours. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, almost 70 people still in here. God bless you. Have a great weekend. So yeah, okay, we've got 87 likes in here. We got about 20 minutes to get to a 3-hour tour that we tried to do yesterday. And we'll copy some here. Got about almost 15 minutes, and we'll do a 3-hour tour. So we'll try to get a 3-hour tour. AI for president. That's right. Yeah, AI is about to get president. We'll copy some of these comments. Got a bunch of them. We'll talk about how the church has infiltrated our government. I always vote for whoever Fox News tells me to vote for. Well, I like Fox News. Fox News goes against some of the truthful things sometimes. Donald Trump calls out Fox News sometimes. Humanity and the planet have no representative. I represent them. I try to take care. I wouldn't be in this position if we don't have jarheads testing bombs off hot lines next to nuke plants, creating earthquakes that affect Yellowstone. I have no idea what you're talking about. Relax, brother. We need you. Thank you for that. So let's talk about how churches, we got about a little bit over 15 minutes, and we'll close this thing out. Let's talk about how people have infiltrated our Christian churches and are facilitating the protesters that have infiltrated our government, like Governor Bill Hasbin, the Christian transvestite, liar, thug, that promoted somebody that is dangerous to you, dangerous to themselves, even knowing that they stole valor. We reported it, they know. Even knowing that they were working while on workers' comp, weren't supposed to be, violating rules, Major Stacey Heatherly. And there's other people that they do that to, that they promote, because they're trying to show you, we don't care what you think. We're going to do whatever we want to do. We're in power. We've lied to people and gotten power. He's only got about a year left, and he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And then whenever they run a new person on the ticket for governor, they'll lie to you some more. And what we're trying to do is, through the churches they'll lie. What we're trying to do is speak the truth to power, speak the truth to the public, get enough support to overturn the election and make a difference so we can listen to what you all say and open up bridges and provide for public safety, unlike what these dirtbags are doing. And I've been showing you, and I'll keep showing you with evidence the truth of these dirty lies. So they've infiltrated the church, and we'll talk about that, how they've done that. The party represents the church. There's a Republican Party here in Knoxville that's not really Republican. They're a lying, dirty group of thugs that won't let you finish a sentence. They'll say whatever they want to about you in the news and whatever, but they won't let you. It's the Center City Republican, and they operate out of a church. Now, this is not anti-Christian. I'm a Christian. I told you I carried my Bible in my pocket. This is the truth. This is the truth. Even in the Bible, it says that during the last days, that churches will be lukewarm. It'll spew them out of his mouth. And I'm telling you that churches need to be involved in preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to vote. They should be able to vote in politics. But they shouldn't be voting for people and promoting voting for people because they're in a particular party. Now, most churches promote voting for people in the Republican Party. What's wrong with the Democrats? They've got a lot of good ideals. God is not Republican or Democrat. So how can you sit in a church and say that vote for Republicans or for Democrats? Maybe you should vote for an independent in churches. But let me see how many people in here, see how much time we got left. I'm trying to do the 3-hour tour today, like we was going to do thug, how the system worked. But OPR put me back to work. But Tracy Trott, in his murder for hire, didn't have the guts to do it. Sent OPR to change the truth and violate the law. Had people lying under oath and holding their jobs over them to do. How many we need? We need about 22% of the eligible voting power. And we can overturn this election with a small percentage. It won't take very much. It won't take you talking. I mean, if everybody helps it a little bit, we'll overturn these dirtbags. Friends calling friends. And then we talked. I showed you a picture of showed you live this morning of the Henley Street Bridge, Chapman Highway going out to it, and the traffic backed up on the bridge because the mayor and Haslam closed down the Gay Street Bridge, and so the Henley Street Bridge is closed down. People have to. That's the only bridge through Knoxville is now the Henley Street Bridge. Used to be 2 bridges open, and the mayor and the former governor, Bill Lee, have a picture of themselves on that bridge, and they'll still be able to drive across that bridge, but you won't, because they're going to open it for government vehicles. And now I'm going to talk about, in closing, we're going to talk about how the government, people in power, like alleged Christian governor Bill Lee, is using the church, infiltrated the church to promote a corrupt political party in Tennessee that even goes against the president, and facilitating the legitimacy of their illegitimate protest against us. And if you need to replay that, yeah, I said what I said, and it makes sense. So you may have to slow it down. The people in power are using the church to legitimize the illegitimate protesters that are in power now. And that's unpack that later, but that's what they're doing. They're illegitimate protesters. And the church is legitimate, and they're using that to say, hey, we're Christians. We're part of the church, to make themselves look legitimate when they're not. And they're legitimate when they preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and preach love and kindness and forgiveness to mankind and preach to ask the Lord Jesus Christ to come into your heart. That's legitimate. When they do other stuff, you need to question whether or not they're telling you the truth about stuff, because it might just be their damn opinion. They need to get out of the church to teach their opinion and teach you to vote for people that teach Christian, godly, truth values is what they need to do. And they don't do that. They don't do that at all. So many people will get on here and I'll tell you how they've infiltrated the church. And then we'll close this 3-hour tour out. We'll go for 3 hours. So like we said we was yesterday, we're going to do it today. Let's see how many people we got, and then we'll close this thing out. Thank you all. Like, subscribe, share, comment. God bless you all, I pray. Let's see. So here we go. We have got 10 minutes to go. We got 10 minutes to go. And then we will get out of here. So, and we'll have a 3-hour tour of truth speaking. So how the government how people, not the government, you are the government. Go to church. You should. And a Christian church that teaches Jesus Christ. And accept the Lord in your heart. That's what I would promote doing. And the way they have infiltrated the church is the Center City Republican Party has their meetings in a church in the middle of Knoxville, right off Concord Street, right off Southern Avenue. They invited me there to speak, and when I was running for city council, and in a Christian church, ought to be ashamed of themselves. They invited me. I didn't ask to come, so I went and come and tried to speak and talk about people in power, corruption. Specifically, same thing I'm telling y'all about how dirty they are for public safety, for public protection. And they literally stopped me in mid-sentence and wouldn't let me talk about government, people in government power, corruption. You can watch it. It's on the video. It's when I had 100 subscribers. Now I got almost 1,000. So what I'm saying resonates with the public. What they're saying is a dirty lie. They're dirty, corrupt people, even if they are in the Republican Party. They shouldn't be, and they shouldn't be doing this from a church building. Ought to be ashamed of themselves. And they'll be held accountable. God will hold them accountable for their lies. So they wouldn't even let me speak. And they say, well, we let you speak for 5 minutes after they interrupted me, made fun of me, insulted me, which I still spoke anyway. I don't care. I'll speak the truth. You know, I got a little education in sociology. Your social pressure, when it's wronged, doesn't affect me. I told them the truth. And then they act like, well, he left me, like I'm afraid or something. I'm not going to sit around a bunch of fake thugs that are going to maybe even try to hurt me. I don't know. They might have from a church. I don't know. The leader of that organization is a big fat thug, a dirty man. And then he got on the video the next day, running me down. What a dirtbag thug you are from a church. I'd be afraid if I was you. Sit from God's house promoting lies. And one of the main differences that I have from, and this is why it's about legitimacy of people in power, has nothing to even do with Republican, Democrat. They're not even really Republican. They're trying to legitimize the illegitimate people in government power that are protesting you. That they're illegitimate. They shouldn't be in power. They lied to you to get there. They claim to be Christians. Have their meetings in Christian churches. And they're not Republican. Republican values, some of the values that I have, which is the sanctity of life. I value that. That's a Christian value. That God knows you before you're born. That you have a purpose. That you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Even babies in the womb are. And they shouldn't be aborted for birth control. That is wrong. You have cases on television where a woman murders her baby seconds after she's born, put them in a plastic bag, tries to hide them for whatever reason, and that's murder. But you have women that murder their children 10 seconds before they're born, and that's abortion. I mean, you know, under the law, that's not right. That's not what I believe. Life begins at conception. We should limit the number of abortions. I know sometimes it's medically necessary. I'm not insane or absurd about things. You know, there's things happen that aren't in the normal course of events where bad stuff has to happen either way, the mother or the child. I understand that. I get that. I'm not unreasonable. They are. They take an unreasonable position. And it's not even scientific. And Republicans, for the most part, claim that they believe in life and protecting it as far as possible, which I believe. And they present that out of churches. That's a Christian belief that people have. But are they really pro-life? They at the Center City Christian Church, they let a Democrat speak, running for office against me and against another Republican, that Democrats are, and I have a lot of their beliefs. One fundamental belief, well, I can't go along with Democrats, fundamental beliefs. And there are some pro-life Democrats This one I don't believe is, but they let a Democrat speak for the Democratic Party. She's running as a Democrat. And they're pro-abortion. But if you'd ask her today, and they let her speak from a Christian church, they should have asked her, before we help you get elected, to speak. What is your position on life, on the sanctity of life? We're in a Christian church. What's your position on that? My position, I told them I'm pro-life. I believe that we ought to limit the number of abortions as far as humanly possible. That people are fearfully and wonderfully made. It's a Christian perspective. It's a Christian worldview. Democrats don't have that worldview. As a party, they don't. They don't believe in pro-life. The president, the lady running for president, vice president of the United States, had on the side of her vehicle reproductive rights. She's running for pro-abortion, running to increase abortions. That's the Democratic leader. Donald Trump, his position was very clear, that he thought we ought to preserve life as far as possible. That he said that his position was one of more middle ground, that he knows there's some abortions that are necessary, that they're the ones that they think our position is absurd, theirs is. Hello. Got you the best protection you can get, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
The best position is the one that backs up science and makes sense. Pro-life as far as possible. We're not absurd. We respect humanities and people's decisions, but we don't believe in using birth control, the abortions as birth controls. And Democrats do as a party. As a party, you run as a Democrat, you're saying that you believe in abortion on demand for birth control, reproductive rights on the side of Kamala Harris's bus that she ran over the United States, running for president, wanting to promote abortion, which is demonic. And I don't believe that. And if you believe that there should be more abortions, that don't mean you shouldn't follow me. It means, hey, that's not my position. We still need your help to save lives and save the government from these rogue people that have taken over. But if you're a Democrat, then the position that you take, unless you deny it, and you need to deny it publicly, is that you are pro-life. And there are some Democrats that have renounced the pro-abortion positions, which good. You might consider voting for them. As a party, they believe in abortion for birth control. Mother's choice, no matter. That's not right. I mean, you're going to allow abortion 10 seconds before they're born, but after, try them for murder. You ought to try them for murder 10 seconds when you abort them before they're born. Them and the doctor that done it. Unless it's absolutely medical necessary, and it shouldn't have got to that point. If it's absolutely medical necessary, and the government should intervene in protecting people's lives. Less government intervention, that's right, but where it comes to protecting people's lives, amen. We need to do that. So how the church has infiltrated the government, the protesters, and they're working out of churches and infiltrated the government is, let me finish the story. Let's see how much longer we got. Do this 3-hour tour, and I'll tell you how dirty this is getting. And we need to fight back with this social movement. Charles Van Morgan. Power to you, the people. Let's see what we got here. Man, we got, we're going down, got 42 followers on here right now. Bloody hell. Relax, brother. Yeah. So, we go down to the bottom. This is private property. The ideal that life begins at conception is a disregard of what we actually value about the human experience. Abortion should be legal for any reason up to 20 weeks. Yeah, okay. Well, that's your fallacy. That's your fallacy. That's not accurate. That's not scientific. That's not Christian, and it shouldn't be perpetrated out of a Christian church, which the Center City Republicans are. They let a Democrat, a registered Democrat, never voted Republican, always voted for pro-abortion Democrats, probably voted for Kamala Harris, speak at the Center City Republican meeting when she was running for city council. In their hearing, let her speak uninterrupted, did not have her say anything about her position on abortion. And the city council does have a position on abortion. They do affect abortion. People say that's at a much higher level. The Knoxville City Council has wrote out an official statement voted on by their city council that they believe in abortion and that they believe that a mother should have the right to choose, and voted on and approved by the Knoxville City Council. So the Knoxville City Council is wrong. They're Democrat. And she would have perpetrated that and keep that. Had I been voted into office, I wouldn't have brought that up and voted against it. I might have got out overruled, but I would still would have had it on the record. I voted against that. That's not what I believe. Not what I stand for. I'm a reasonable position for pro-life as far as possible. Protect little children. If you're not, then if you agree with Kamala Harris, abortion on demand, which that's not right. Even a lot of Democrats don't believe that. But they let that lady speak, not denouncing abortion, a Democrat, never voted Republican, at a Christian church, and that Jesus teaches pro-life, that he knew you before you were born. So how do you run a church and the Center City Republicans, against what they allege they're pro-life, lets a Democrat speak at their church in the church house, and runs down a registered Republican that speaks out against abortion, that is pro-life, but they run me down and promote a Democrat from the church, from Jesus's house, that allows abortion. And don't say anything about her. Don't tell her to shut up, because it's not about protecting the public. It's not about specific issues. It's about whatever issue they think they can sell to you to stay in power and to maintain their illegitimate government. Their illegitimate power is what it's about. Let's see how many people I got, and we'll close this thing out and contribute. Help me spread this message. Thank you. Let's see, we got a bunch of people in here, almost 100 likes. Let's try to get me 100 likes in here. And we're over 3 hours, so I can close this out. We did a 3-hour tour. Everybody celebrate with me. Yes, we did a 3-hour tour like Gilligan's Island. We set out on a 3-hour tour, and we completed it. We didn't get it done yesterday. We got it done today. So tomorrow we won't go this long. But they, from a Christian church, they've infiltrated the church. The Republican Party, that's not really even the Republican Party, these protesters, under the Center City Baptist Church, and churches all over the United States and all over the state of Tennessee, they've infiltrated your churches. They're lying to you about their positions. That's why Governor Lee got in power, claiming he's a Christian, using the church falsely, claiming he values life when he don't. More people are killed under his dictatorship. He's a thug. He's wrong. So don't listen to what these churches are telling you about politics. Listen to what they're telling you about Jesus Christ and him crucified, accepted in your heart. Amen. I believe that. I believe that. And that's in my heart. Don't listen to what they tell you about who to vote for, unless they endorse Charles Van Morgan, who's on your side, who will denounce abortion, because they let out of their Christian church, the same Christian church that voted for Bill Lee, let a Democrat that is pro-abortion, didn't denounce it, speak at a pulpit in their church. They listened to her for 5 minutes uninterrupted. They tried to shut me down, and they did. A registered Republican that is pro-life, been pro-life all the time, and they shut me down, wouldn't let me speak. So that's at a Christian church. So they have infiltrated the church. They were promoting her because they thought she might have a chance to win better than me. So they're after power, they're not after truth. Because had they been after truth, they would have listened to what I said, and they would have promoted me, but they told people not to vote for me. They even made a video the next day running me down, talking bad about me. They didn't say nothing about the registered pro-abortion Democrat that spoke at their church. So I'm just saying, if you go to church, hey, God bless you, listen to the pastor. When they start talking about politics, they may be lying to you about stuff, maybe trying to deceive you in order to maintain power and not in order to maintain truth and justice and what's right. And that's in the churches in the United States of America. In Tennessee, that's how they got Governor Bill Lee elected. He's a dirtbag. I don't know his heart, but he doesn't live like a Christian. Don't listen to these people when they tell you who to vote for. Even inside a church, that's what they've done. They've infiltrated churches to maintain power, not for your health, safety, protection, well-being. You can look at the video. Tried to shut me down. I didn't shut up. And they let another Democrat speak for 10 minutes. They said, we let him speak for 5 minutes. They let another Democrat speak for 10 minutes uninterrupted, listen to him, and shut me down. And I'm just saying, they don't care about truth, justice, and righteousness. They've infiltrated churches. And I'm saying go to church. That's not God's responsibility. They'll pay to God. They'll pay for that. That's wrong. I'd be very careful what I said in a Christian church. And, but that's how they've infiltrated the Christian church. We're going to get off here. God bless you all. Thank you all so very much for hanging with me. Hopefully, we did a 3-hour tour. Like, subscribe, comment. Join me again tomorrow morning. We'll be on here about 6:30, about 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. The Charles Van Morgan Show, Truth to Power. Join the social movement. So, the last thing I always say, and we'll copy some of the comments to read them, see what's on y'all's mind. Last thing I'm always say is what I always say is God loves you, and I do too. Until tomorrow morning, thank you.